my name while you collect your claim. And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can see the light that's right before my eyes. Wow, she's deceiving me. She cuts my security. She got control of me. I turn to her and say, don't switch the blade on a dying shed so low. Don't masquerade with the dying shed so low. I can't believe it. Don't be afraid of the dying shed so low. It can't escape you 'cause you got it made with the dying shed so low. I say, my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I say it to you now. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I cry to you. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at
All right. What's up, everybody? Let me just change this out here. How is everybody doing tonight on this great Saturn day? Let me just get this changed. Here we go. Welcome out, folks, to another episode of What's Your Question? Number 28. And I'm happy you joined in tonight. My name is Logan, of course. I'm your host, your tour guide for tonight's journey. And we're going to tap into the unlimited. Whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. Try to keep it on the decoding world, the decoding level. I'm going to take some phone calls. Keep your phone calls short, to the point. Have a question, have a construct to your questions. I was just on the Syncretism Society. Danny, I sat in for the great Santos Bonacci, who is okay, by the way. He's fine. Some of you are wondering. But I was able to go on there and talk about the metaverse. That was the topic for the Syncretism Society. Big shout out to Danny and Ricardo and all the greats over there, all the instructors. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel and keep up to date on their podcasts. You know, they're doing their thing. Big shout out to my great friend Jordan over at Waters Above Crypto. Please go subscribe to his channel. Sign up to his course. On how to trade crypto, or how to at least read the markets, if you're a fan of that. And go listen to his amazing voice. Like, the dude has one of the best voices I've ever heard. He's just so soothing and has such a drive of love behind him. It's awesome. Big shout out to Harry and Nigel over at the Devil's Playground as well. Go subscribe to their channel. Becoming this family. And I know I'm going to be doing more podcasts. I've been invited to do more networking, syncing up with more people of like mind to share this great research, share our ideas and viewpoints. And a big shout out to all of you great decoders out there wherever you are around the world. I'm in sincere gratitude for all the things that you provide on the world stage. Your opinions are valuable. I'm a kind of a student of life as well as a teacher. I think we're all both of those. But I learn from a lot of you. So a very big heartfelt shout out to all of you great decoders out there doing this research on the world stage. What amazing times we're in right now, folks. I got some great decodes coming out in the future days ahead. Don't Look Up is one of them, which of course is tied to the movie Moonfall, which came out on February 3rd. Not even a month later, which completely ties into Don't Look Up. And what does that mean? Is there really something that's going to be falling from the sky and headed toward Earth and perhaps have its say on our livability situation? So many different layers to all this right now. I also have, of course, I got the metaverse, the Facebook coming out as a decoder. Still working on that. I have the Shemitah and the 50th Golden Jubilee coming out. I'm working on that. I got Superstar. If you're a fan of the Sun and the Superstar series, I got part 3 coming out soon, which I've been really heavily investing my time in the patterns of the sun and just kind of really observing nature. I've been taking photographs of my compass outside as I sit out in the sun and observe it. And that's really, I feel, the best way to come up with your conclusions on how this reality works based on the mechanics of this cosmology that we all observe. So anyways, big shout out to all of you. Let's get into some of the chats, see what some of you are posting. D348. I don't know. What is ASMR? I'm drawing a blank. What is that abbreviation for? You said Waters Above is actually an ASMR channel. I'm not sure what that means. What's up, Christine? Christine from the great state of Washington in the house. Jody in the house. Rizel, what's going on? Pamela, nice to have. A lot of great names here. A lot of returning subscribers. And I even had, to start this off, I had somebody said there's a Ruth House that says, bet you don't know what account this is. I'm in. So I don't know. I've had to block some people. I'm ignoring some people on purpose because I just don't feel like associating with certain people. And that's my choice. I'm looking for people that are going to raise my frequency, and I can help raise theirs. And that's just it, man. As you know, folks, as I teach, I suggest, I should say, I don't even want to say teach. I suggest neutrality, but I also suggest, what Jordan says, love is allowing, but also like hanging out with your tribe that's going to enlighten you, that's going to raise your currency. And if someone is bringing you down, whether it's because they're just bringing you down because that's what they're doing, or because you just can't handle the kind of energy and you don't resonate with it, then get rid of it. This is not a prize-winning selection here with life. This is not about winning any kind of money or currency at the end of it all. This is about your experience personally. You don't owe anybody anything. Your job is to wake yourself up. And your job is to decode yourself, and as far as I'm concerned, and realize what the hell you're doing here. That's it. And if there are people in your life that I was involved in a conversation on a social media page, and I'm disconnecting from Facebook quite a bit. I'm going to do my posting. I'm not going to engage. I've already told myself I'm going to eliminate myself from engaging in other people's posts. I just not interested anymore because I see myself going towards my prime on my ego, and I want to work on that. I want to be more neutral. I want to just be an observer rather than engage. Once you engage, people's primal comes out, their ego, their devil, and a lot of people just will hammer you. And I mean, my block list keeps getting bigger and bigger. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm just not into the people that say I'm a prophet or I'm this Messiah, I'm this, and does anybody really care? People pushing their, and it's just like, all of you know how I feel about opinions. I don't like them. I'm not a big fan of opinions. Yet that's what I see. I see people pushing their opinion, which they're entitled to do. But then where's your support with your opinion? I'm a nag with that. Because I'm a fan of, law. And I'm not a fan of the court system per se, but I'm a fan of like trying to prove your merit, prove your worth, support yourself. And it's very simple, as I said before. If you're going to show up in court to prove your opinion, what will you show up with other than your opinion? And what I see on the world stage, most people have nothing but an opinion. And that's their truth. That's totally fine. But as I stand now, I'm disengaging from the Facebook universe for a while, because I just see a lot of division, and I see myself dividing myself there, and I just not interested in it anymore. I'd rather just come on here, be my content creator, and continue to put out what I find, and whoever finds that and resonates with it, great. Not looking for debates. I'm not looking to get into any debates. And I certainly don't feel like I need to prove anything to anybody or defend my research. So those are my disclaimers, I guess. I'm not perfect, man. I'm not immune to being a human. Man, I tell you, the energy now is just the people that are coming out are just, in the true sense of, I guess you could say, a psychopath or a true narcissistic behavior, like really, and I know we can all be that way, right? But I'm talking about when the true essence of a psychopath comes out and you see that, it's like, I'm seeing that a lot, and it's a wake-up call for me personally. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't hang out with people like that in real life. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't hang out with people like that. But yet, what I do see on the world stage is that when you put out a topic in the decoding world that has to deal with psychopathic kind of tendencies, which has to do with killing and murder and just all acid-based, that is what gets the most views. That is what gets the most discussions. That's what gets the most shares. That's the world we're living in right now. That's because the only logical sense is because we're living in the dark ages right now. I just don't think if you went back to, going back to the baby stage, the golden age, these things we're sharing now just wouldn't have any room for that kind of energy. It's like sharing a horror movie with a 2-year-old. Like sitting a little baby in a baby stroller in front of a TV and having them watch a horror movie with you, and you trying to have a conversation with the baby. The baby's not even going to be able to converse with you, and they're not even going to know what the heck's going on because they've never seen that before. But yet as we advance through ages and we become darker and darker and we get weighed down with beliefs and what we see and what we hear and through the senses, we become negatively charged. The polarization of man. That's just how it works. We get polarized. So it's so easy. Yeah, Brock saying I allowed someone to lower my vibe. It's so easy to lower your frequency down to your primal. When you look at the tarot cards, because let's just turn to that, ladies and gentlemen, because it just gives us the photograph. We think in pictures. And I've said this so many times before, is that, if I say, what does your car look like? You instantly have a photograph of your car in your mind, and you're going to say it's blue or it's black or it's green or it's white, because we think in pictures. We don't think in words. We say words, but we think in pictures, which is why I feel the tarot has its merit and has so much authority in the words that we speak. So I have shown many times now that the two The two cards that make up the spirit and the ego are these right here. It's the sun and the devil. The word spirit equals 19, which is the sun card. The word ego equals 15, which is the devil card. How very fitting that, and this is Chaldean only, which is directly tied to source, in my opinion. It goes off of phonetics, frequency, the shapes and symbols of the letters. And what you're going to find is that life will pull you down to this. This is acid forming. Addictions, the lower chakras. Life will do that to you. It will easily pull you down into the lower chakra realms. It's where procreation's at. Satiation. Going to the bathroom, going through all those intestines, and out the back end comes waste, sewerage. It's all lower chakra. This reality, as fun as it is, it's designed to break you down. That's how this reality works. It's very simple. We start off like this, bright and beautiful. If you have no blemishes as a child, that's why there's a little child on the horse, and the horse is white, representing purity. This is tied to the word spirit, ladies and gentlemen, tied to the word soul. This is what we start out with. As a child, you don't know. You could sit there and watch a horror movie like Chainsaw Massacre or Hellraiser or whatever. And as a child in a stroller, you're not going to understand what that movie means. Because you're pure. But as you trek through life and move through that timeline, you end up becoming this, tied to the chains of addiction, tied to the chains of conformity, tied to the chains of people pleasing, tied to the chains of looking good. Because that's exactly what life is all about, looking good. And we all do it. Because the human being itself is an inauthentic machine. It's not authentic. It's an inauthentic machine designed to have an identity that needs to stand out, that needs to stand up and say, look at me, that needs to stand out and say, listen to what I got to tell you. And we all have it. So when you can stand in the middle of these two, in the very dead center, and just look both ways, you're going to become one of these. You're going to go back and forth. It's inescapable. Both are essential. Both are essential. All right. So, Brock, thank you for defending me, but folks, you don't need to defend anything at this point. Stand in your truth. Yes, stand firm. Hold that position. But go look for your offense and where you're going to score some points. That's what wins the game. Defense, if you go 0-0, typically in most sports, there's nobody that comes out a winner. Got to play over again. So just stand in your offense. Because when you're defending, you're not offending. When you're on defense, you can't be on offense. I'd rather be on offense the entire time. When you're on offense the entire time, you make the defense tired and weary. Like if the majority of this world were just to turn on and, it would click. They would shut off a lot of what they're watching, and that would literally be on the offense of like, wow, I'm not going to give my energy to the static, so what am I going to go create today? Maybe I'm going to go do a vision board today. And that would take energy to do, and your attention, and that attention normally would be placed on the telly or YouTube or, the static, or your neighbor talking about their problems and you getting involved with them. Whereas if you disconnected from that and put it into you, did your vision boards, meditated, disconnected from the static, you now would have something you'd be building, which is more spirit-based. It's really simple. It's really, really simple. Tetragrammaton equals 47, Chaldean 15th prime number, exactly. So the Tetragrammaton, those of you that have been paying attention, is the element silver. Tetragrammaton has, of course, many outcomes. 47 in the Chaldean, 166 in the English, 166 is the hierarchy of the 66. There are 66 books in the Bible. That should have bells going off in your mind. What runs the Bible? The Tetragrammaton does, of course. It's more powerful than you and I, so it deserves some kind of respect. I'm not going to say bow down to something like that. But it's definitely far more, that idea anyway is far more powerful than any one of us. But 47 is silver. Silver is on the Vatican flag, along with gold. 47 being the 15th prime number, 15 being the devil card. I know the 47 so well, folks, because I have the 47th card in the deck as my birth card, the 8 spades. Trapped and limited. That's what I was born with. And maybe that is one of the very reasons why I have come out with my Prison Planet series, which I showed what I feel to be the way out. If you resonate with that, if there is a way out, there's my birth card. That's what I was born with. I don't regret it. I'm not angry about it. I'm not upset about it. I'm actually I'm in gratitude. This is what I've become in my life. A massive gratitude junkie. If you want one of these shirts, by the way, this is my sponsor, the Healers Project. If you go, I'm going to put it in the, I'm going to pin it. So if you're interested in that, let me just give you this t-shirt's on sale right now. Let me just get this. Oops. There we go. And let me just slap this into the... There we go. So if you want to, support what I'm doing, maybe you just want the t-shirt. They're really good quality t-shirts. They're top quality. They're Bella Canvas t-shirts. Very, very good quality t-shirts. The ones that are in the sale box. They're for sale right now. They're sale items, I should say. So if you want to get and support and become a gratitude junkie, become part of, just this message. You don't have to become part of me. Become part of Decode Your Reality. Just be your own be in state of gratitude. That's where it's at. Is living in a state of gratitude, being grateful for this life, being grateful that you can experience animals and the beach and the sun and the rain and the wind, and being able to experience life. That's the gift. Is Lucifer and Jesus the same person? It seems to appear that way. I honestly... God, I'm going to throw a big curveball at you with this question, Hermetic Alchemist 47. See, Jesus always points to the heart in a lot of the photographs. Now, again, these are author renditions. So we have to take this with a grain of salt. No pun intended on the words. But is it possible that Jesus, the character, is actually Earth? I mean, the story is he came to Earth. And when you look at the photographs of the Christ, he's pointing to the heart, and heart is an anagram for the word earth. And the Christ is love, so love is the great balancer, which is the fourth chakra, which is the great balancer of the numbers 1 through 7. And then he has the crown that he wears, and the sun does that dance around the earth. So is it possible that Christ is really the earth? I've shown in my decode on Lucifer and the sun that I believe that Lucy in the sky with diamonds is Lucifer, which is the sun. There is no mistake about it, because in my Superstar 3 decode coming out, I will show with very clear and convincing support that the sun makes a diamond pattern shape as it moves along the ecliptic. It makes a boomerang shape is what it does. But when you put those two boomerangs together, it makes a diamond. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. So it's really possible that Lucy is the sun and Christ is the earth. It's possible. And yes, I did say Jesus can be the moon. I've said it all. It may seem like I'm contradicting myself, but you see, once you continually go down these rabbit holes, the story can quickly change. So there are strong ties to, when you take the moon, let me show you how strongly tied Christ is to the moon. Now, is the moon just a burnt out sun? Someone came on a phone call not too long ago. I can't remember her name. Really nice lady. And she said that the moon used to be the sun. And I thought that was really, really interesting. And, when I first came out with a video about the Christ many, many months ago about Jesus being the moon. I had posed that as a possibility. In the Chaldean, let me digress and tell all of you this. The reason why I favor Chaldean over any other cipher is because it's not only the oldest numerology cipher on the planet. That's number one. Number two, it works off of phonetics, which is the frequency of the letters. Number three, it goes off of the similarity of the symbols, like the letter F and the letter P. They look almost identical. The letter P is a full expression. The letter F is a broken expression. Yet they match the same numbering sequence. Chaldean uses the numbers 1 through 8, but it still will involve the number 9. The number 9 is a repeater number, which is why if you use any cipher, if you're a decoder, it doesn't matter what you use, you will find truth in it because the number 9 is involved in that cipher. Chaldean uses the numbers 1 through 8, and then the sun's pattern is derived from the number 8. It forms what's called an analemma. It makes that figure 8 in the sky as it moves across the ecliptic. The 19th card in the tarot is the sun card. And the 19 is the 8th prime number. So which one do you think you should be leaning towards? If you're a decoder and you're looking to discover how you are in this reality. I've decoded so many people. I've done a lot of readings for people. And I can tell you straight up without being biased, what I'm about to say is Chaldean is the most accurate when describing your name numerology. Bar none. It's more accurate than the Pythagorean 1 through 9. Bar none. And the Chaldean's directly tied into the tarot cards. It's directly tied into the cards of illumination. It's directly tied into alchemy. No other cipher is like that. Not from my research. Now, if you have some other kind of information that you're finding, send me an email and let's have a chat about it. decodeyourreality@gmail.com. I'd love to hear what you got to say. Kativa Turner, the moon is the mirror to the earth. I don't agree with that at all. That just doesn't make sense because of the way, if you study the cycles of the sun and you can start to see the full moon and the waxing gibbous and the wanings and all that, it wouldn't be possible. And on top of that, the moon is something that you can see on a full, when you look at it through a telescope, it doesn't even remotely come close to anything that I've observed from the earth. And when you start to study the sun's patterns, it completely shatters that. I'm not one to believe that and not only that, it's like, how do you explain all the other moons that the other planets have? Are they just reflections of those planets? Why are we to believe that our moon is the only reflection? And the other planets, those are real moons. That just doesn't logically make any sense. Take the other moons into consideration. You'd have to claim that those are all reflections as well. Just not buying it. That's just my take on it, Kativa. So yeah, Boz 369, maybe the moon is a reflection. I just don't buy it, because that would mean every other planet that has a moon, that's the reflection. And a lot of these planets have multiple moons, a lot of moons. And you can see them through a telescope. So if you can see the moon through a telescope, and there's multiple ones, and they're all spread out all around the place, how could they even be a reflection of that planet? Just it doesn't logically make sense, and they don't even look like the planet itself. So it's not like you're just like trying to theorize that, well, maybe the moon and the craters are the reflection of the Earth. That just doesn't logically make any sense to me. Bruce says the moon could be artificial. It could be. I don't think so. I mean, it's completely round. It's spherical. It's perfectly balanced in the spherical sense. And again, many planets have moons. So why is it any different for ours to think that it's something completely different? I just don't buy into that. But I'm open to anything, ladies and gentlemen. I really am. It's just, obviously I'm very sold into my own opinions, of course, just like you are. All of us are, in our own beliefs. And yeah, you should be open. I am. I mean, if you watch a lot of my decodes, you can go back and say, well, Logan contradicts himself. Of course, because I keep changing my viewpoints. So obviously that should tell you that I'm open, because I change my viewpoints in my decodes. Again, you got to cherry pick and make the truth your own. That's really where it's at. Jose Garcia, what's my take on the moon having a light and dark side? Well, of course, if you look at an astrology chart, which is round, and you go look at an astrology chart on the day of a full moon, you will clearly see the sun and the moon are in direct opposition of one another. The sun is giving all its light to the moon. So that would mean that the other side of the moon's not getting the light. And that's about as much as I can tell you on what that means. I wish I could go to the Hubble Telescope Center. I wish I could go to some of these great places where they study astronomy. I wish I could go there and do it and use these very, very expensive high-powered telescopes. I'd be in my glory. Cal Ripken is 33. Excuse me, that's kind of interesting. You meant that $1. Cal Ripken was like one of my baseball heroes growing up. I was from, I'm born and raised in New England, so I was a Boston Red Sox fan. But yeah, growing up, I was just a Baltimore Oriole fan. I was huge. Eddie Murray, Cal Ripken, those guys, I was just a huge fan of them. Cal Ripken was my go-to guy. What if your birthday is on February 22nd, 2022? Well, I guess we're going to find out. I'm not sure. Some of you are asking what my website is. It's cosmicsugar.org, not .com or .net. It's .org as an organization, cosmicsugar.org. That's where you can book a reading. It's still under construction, so some of my pages are not working fully. Like my astrology page, still working on it. Stephanie, why depopulation when the all is one simulation needs this much variety for us to consume? Well, I mean, Stephanie, I think that it's possible that mankind does get wiped out to a major degree. And the very reason why that is a possibility, that you can't take it off the board, is that mankind is the virus. I have said this. Now, I know that is very non-tolerable for most people. You can't tolerate these notions. Like, what do you mean I'm a virus? What do you mean I'm a parasite? I had mentioned this just a little bit ago with Syncretism Society, and I had some people in there that just didn't want to believe that. But Folks, if you look at the human being experience, we are parasites. We have a host, that's Earth, and we feed off of it. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. See, people that get mad at that, they're labeling that as a bad thing. That's just what you were born into. You have no choice. But it's very possible that at the end of a cycle, the majority of mankind gets wiped out, and the Earth is given time to regenerate, which it badly needs. Because mankind's been, I'm not saying you now. I'm just saying that mankind in general is literally pillaging the Earth, taking its blood, which is the oil, taking its resources. You know, the Anunnaki story, Enki and Enlil, and the whole concept of us being here to mine the gold is somewhat true. Because if you start to study the elements on the periodic table, these elements are being mined, of many of them. There are mines all around the world, and they are being used to pull these metals out of the earth. And what are we using these metals for? Necklaces, jewelry, computer parts, to create the virtual reality. Silicon and copper and lead, and they're on the motherboard. So they're being taken from the earth and they're being transversed into an artificial piece that mankind makes. And they're just transitioning that metal into something else and putting it into use into something else. So it's an interesting concept when you realize that, you know, as I say, man's being used for its currency. Why are we digging up all these metals? We are taking these metals and we are moving them and using them for something else. Just like they knock trees down to make toilet paper. That's what toilet paper is made from. If you wipe your butt, you're a parasite because you're buying toilet paper. You're promoting the destruction of trees. I know that it's so horrific, but that's the truth. That's not my opinion. These are things that people don't pay attention to. They don't care about. Most of you drive cars. That means that most of you are pillaging the earth from the oil because you're using gas to drive your car around. And again, it's like, where do you draw the line to say, is it a bad thing? Only if you say it is. Your word is law. It's just really that simple. Legacy of light. What about a birthday on the 31st? Well, there is no special birthday. I can tell all of you that. Everybody has their own power. And I think the true essence of life is given the chance to wake up, so to speak, to realize that you're in a game, letting go of the concept that you're not in control, and of course, experiencing life to all its totality, having fun, and then waking up to the fact that we are playing a game, and your choice of free will, if we have any, is perhaps marching down the board and becoming a piece of royalty, as in the game of chess. If you take the pawn and you move all the way down to the end of the board, you can become a queen, the most powerful piece on the board. So I think that's what life is all about. And if you get down to the back end of the board and you become a queen, you level up. I know these are very abstract ideas I'm throwing out there to all of you, especially if you've never played the game of chess. I'm actually decoding the game of chess. It's really fascinating. But the 31st, those of you that are born on the 31st, just try to keep the numbers in their authentic format. I know we all reduce down as numerologists, the 3 + 1 = 4, but the 31 really just wants to be the 31. It doesn't want to become the 4. It's going to fight and kick and scream to stay the 31. It's like somebody reducing you down. You're not having it. You want to stay in your authentic format. So these numbers, I feel, are archetypes. They're alive. They have a lot of energy going to them because we use them all the time in symbols and mathematics and words and languages. So they're alive. And if you're a birthday 21, 24, 20, keep the number authentic. Yes, the 31 can be the 4. The 31 is a true essence of The magician building through the empress, or magic building through creation. That's what 31 or 13 means. You just got to know what you're looking for. That's why numerology is where it's at, the science of numbers. Forget gematria. I know it's a big popular thing, but that is not where you're going to go to. It is going to be towards numerology, which is the science of numbers, not gematria. Numerology, the science of numbers. Go get Numerology in the Divine Triangle. It's a great book. It's an orange book with orange lettering. It's got the tarot cards in there. I don't agree with everything that they say in there, where they synchronize it, but they do a great job of explaining the numbers. Numerology and the Divine Triangle. It's a really good book. Or get Chiro's Book of Numbers. The great numerologist, Chiro, Cheiro. Chiro's Book of Numbers. It's another good book on numerology. What if after we die, we become our spirit cards in the cards of elimination? It's possible. You know, I mean, these are theories that should not be left out on any measure. Anything is possible. And if we are creating our own fractals, which could be the truth, folks. What if the truth really is the fact that 1 + 1 = 2? What if you are creating your own fractal? Your own life, and you are a little universe inside the big universe. And what you think about, what you believe in, is what you will leave with and you will come back with. What if that's the truth? It's possible. That's why I say, check off the list of being a good person, not being a psychopath, not being an asshole, limiting that, standing in the middle. Not trying to force. Yes, defend your position. Hold your ground. Yes. But when you have to engage, like I failed the other day. I can honestly tell all of you, I failed in a conversation because I started to engage and my ego, my primal came out and I started to use more of this. And I failed. If there is such a thing as failure, I'm just using that word. I didn't go where I wanted to go. So I posted, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. That's how I feel I'm going to win, not to engage. Tron Legacy, the movie, said, if you want to win, don't play. And the little dangling of the carrot are the posts that you're responding to on social media, that you're engaging in, that we're engaging in, I should say. I don't want to leave myself out. I'm trying to be authentic here. Playing the game is engaging in the game and trying to push your identity on somebody else. And say, oh, you're wrong and I'm right. And, and I'm just as guilty. I do it too. Because I'm all about show me your support. I'm interested. I'm authentically interested in what people have for support with their opinions. I'm really genuinely interested. But yet, you know what I see mostly? No support. Just like, well, it's in my dreams, or something's telling me in my head. Great. But that's my identity. Show me the support. I'm all for it. Buddhism has been teaching this for millennia. Yeah, I mean, as they say, it's nothing new under the sun. Ruth, I don't know about ultimate counselor. I'm just a tour guide. Thank you, Tiffany. I'm a tour guide. That ultimately, I've figured out my place. Besides, I'm an artist and, graphic designer, and I'm a musician, and, I have multiple things that I like to engage in. But ultimately, folks, I am showing you the machinations of the way this world works. That's kind of like my little mini mission statement. If I was stuck in an elevator with all of you and be like, hey, Logan, tell me what you do. I'm a tour guide. Oh, really? Where do you work at? I work on the motherboard. I work at the Game of Life Incorporated. I have been given a specific set of instructions by my voice in my head that I follow. I strive not to deviate away from it. And so far, since I've done that and let go, my life has gotten better from the sense of being better. So I'm not here to twist anybody's arm to say that is what you need to do. I'm not going to do that. But when you let go and you just are guided and then you just observe other people without engaging and pushing, life becomes so much better, so much more peaceful. And then it's just so much easier. Like people saying, oh, you're censoring or you're muting or something. I don't want cancerous kind of comments on my page. Why would I even want to have that on there? I'm trying to keep a clean house here. So I get that, you don't want to be censored. But I'm in control of my reality. I control my reality. It's me, and you control yours. So it's wrong to delete someone's comment that's cancerous. I don't feel bad when I do that. I'm not sitting around there deleting people's comments all the time. No, I let people talk. But when your comment is cancerous, what I feel, because I'm the guide myself, I'm my own keeper. I'm the master of my domain, and I stand in a layer of neutrality. If you have a cancerous comment, if you start being belligerent or you're gone. See you later. No problem blocking you. Why would you not want to do that in your life? Your life becomes more peaceful that way. I don't know why more people don't engage that way. I just have I working on my toleration, but at the same time, if your toleration is allowing people to be cancerous in your life and then you start to lower your frequency, you got to work on your toleration more to allow those people in. It's kind of like, if you're going to turn on the presidential debate and you get emotionally involved, like, yeah, and then you go in and then you're posting comments like, yeah, he won. Well, then you obviously are not the master of your domain because you're now giving energy to these debates and these people. Nobody wins in a debate because both people are right. Once you get that concept that everybody's right, life becomes so much more free. And again, it doesn't mean that you're going to be immune to lowering yourself back down to the primal, to the ego. Doesn't mean that. It's always constantly in your face, this thing. But essentially, what you want to do, you want to be the guy at the top. You want to be the devil itself. You don't want to be, this is your male, female. This is your androgynous. This is your primal and your spirit, and so to speak, in a way. You want to be the guy at the top, controlling everything. If we just really want to be sensible about this. You want to be running the addictions, not being run by the addictions. Be the best little devil you can be. Big Cat Truth, where is the website to get yourself decoded? If you just go to my YouTube channel here, and the very first video on my channel, if you click on the videos, it says how to decode yourself. Start there. It's the most important thing any one of us can do because it allows you to level up in this life. And then when you start to decode other people, you can just be an observer of that person rather than judge or force. Be like, that's just Harry being Harry. That's just, Maria being Maria. Is there no truth, only personal truth? Well, I think everything emanates from one source. So you have, let's just say the English language is the only language in existence, and it starts out with the A through Z alphabet, and then you start to create these words. That's the foundation. That's the base of it. And as you go on and build the language, you start to bring together sentences. Are those not truth? Or are they part of the truth? Everything's always going to come from the foundation, which is the letters and symbols themselves. Essentially, everything inside this self-contained system is a truth. Essentially, everything inside this self-contained system just is. Let's not even label it as a truth. Everything just is. It's just a force. And then we move it and navigate it towards doing certain things. Like if you say, I hate you to somebody, that's the force working at somebody through a lower frequency, a more acid-based. When you say, I love you, or you're amazing, that's a higher frequency that's going to give somebody a love kind of energy. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. Melodius and Hawk, what are my thoughts on God's plan and free will? I've mentioned that at this point right now of my research career, I think we do have some kind of free will, but I think it's very limited. I lost everybody. All right. Let's just see how many people pop back on again. Let me get, I don't know what happened, folks. My computer just shut down. I don't know what the hell happened. I guess it may not have liked what I was saying. All right. I don't know. Glitch there. No, I think I was talking about free will. You're right. So anyway, I don't think we have that much free will. I think we're limited on our free will. I think we all have a code that we are going by. And you cannot deviate away from that predestination. It's kind of like when you look at the cells in your body, there are trillions of cells in your body. They cannot deviate away from their job, their responsibility. Your white blood cells cannot turn into something. I mean, there can be faulty code. Obviously, you have autoimmune deficiencies, and that's the code being manipulated or tortured, or something happens with the body mechanics. But in the true essence of when a baby comes out, it has white blood cells. You don't have to tell those white blood cells to do a damn thing. They're going to constantly go and do their job. So I feel that the human being experience, although we are obviously very complex systems, and we're not just like a single cell organism attacking bacteria or things that invade the body, we definitely have a limitation because you can't fly. You can't jump off a building and fly. Maybe not yet anyway, but you can't fly as it stands right now. So there are limitations to what we can do, what we can and can't do. All right. Hang on a sec, folks. Let me just get my computer. I can't believe my computer just shut down. It's a first, too. Okay. All right, let's get back to your questions. And Ann Edwards, should I use my given name or my true last name? I would do your true last name. I feel like the birth certificate name is the most authentic. And if you're angry at your family heritage, maybe you were born into a family that didn't treat you so nice, you got to make peace with that. So like if you're like having issues, like you're angry, like, my dad was, you got to make peace with that. The last name that you have for most of us are two parts. It's not just your dad's last name, typically. Your mom has a last name as well. It's called, in America, it's called the maiden name. Or the ne. Or the ni, I think it's ni. And you can decode that. I'm going to be coming out with this on how to decode yourself, the life coding system. I'm going to be sharing with everybody. I'm going to be showing how to do all that stuff. It's advanced decoding, I feel anyway, but numerology, astrology, human design, all this. If you're interested in becoming the best version of yourself, discovering your true essence of your highest grade experience, you're going to want to get this course. It's going to be affordable for the majority of you, if not all of you. And if you're a fan of research, if you like doing your own research, if you stay up at night in front of the computer reading about yourself or reading about how to decode the world, you're going to want to get a piece of this life coding system. It's the most powerful that's part of my code. Not just decoding and being this tour guide, folks. It's showing you your instruction manual that you were never given before. Yes, surname, serpent name, slave name, you can call it whatever you want. Yes, if you're using these terminologies, just get rid of the terminologies, just the name. You can decode your social security number. You can decode your birthday. You can decode your mom's maiden name. You can decode anything. And I encourage you to decode as much as you can about yourself. Bear Christ, what are numbers in your opinion? Frequency. That's what numbers are. Everything is frequency. Can you decode Matthew 11 through 13? Well, I can tell you about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the 4 fixed signs of astrology. I'm part of the Syncretism Society. Big shout out to Danny again and Santos and those guys. They're coming out with they're working on, I think they've shot almost all of it, their very own documentary. And I was fortunate enough to be part of this. And I shared my ideas that would probably be way out in left field compared to everybody else. But I had said that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the 4 main gospels, are the 4 fixed signs of astrology. Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, Taurus. And I have a strong feeling that Matthew is Aquarius, which is the tax collector. Matthew is the tax collector. And Aquarius, being the man, perhaps is the tax collector in Matthew. Anyways. Sylvia, should I change my name you can change your name all you want, but you're always going to have the original name stamped in your birth certificate chasing you around. So you should just make peace with it. Like, it's nice to have a fresh start. I would encourage you to do a vision board rather than changing anything. That's a fresh start. Working on yourself, doing mirror work. If you want a really good book to get out of from underneath past things that are still plaguing your life, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. That's where you should start. That's where that was my journey. A lot of you need to go back and heal your childlike self. That ties it. When I do readings for people, I go right to the Chiron, the wound. We all have one. And if you're not attacking that, it's just going to sit there. And your experience won't be as grand as if you were to attack it, lift up the rug, figure out what's there. And most of these Chiron placements are attached to something that happened to you when you were growing up. So many I've seen. They're attached to something that happened to you when you were growing up. You gotta want to fix it. I'm not saying you gotta want to fix it. There's a difference between having to and wanting to. Like when you say the magic spell, God, I ate all that food during the holidays. I just have to go to the gym. No, you don't. You don't have to do anything. See, there's a difference in the spell you speak. There's a difference by saying, I ate all this food during the holidays and now I want to go to the gym and get in better shape. That's a big difference between saying wanting and have to through the magic spells that we speak. And we all get in the habit, we're all guilty of this, we get in the habit of saying things that are the wrong spells to speak. We're all guilty of that. A lot of people will say, don't forget your book at the house. Instead of saying, remember that. We say, don't forget, or don't do this. How about just remember? Don't forget to take the dog out for a walk tonight. How about just saying, hey, remember that you got to remember to take the dog for a walk later? What's the difference between saying don't forget or remember? Is there a difference? Look at the first word that you say, don't. Don't. There's a big difference between saying have to and I want to. Because it's like, when you say I have to go on a diet, even that word diet, negative word. Because it has so much negative connotations attached to it. Nobody really likes to go on a diet. When you think of diet, you're like, oh man, I got to sacrifice. I can't do this. I can't eat that. But when you just turn it around and say, I'm going to choose to go on a healthier regimen right now. That's a plus. It's a positive pulling you in the right direction. Your body's going to want to do that. It feels more natural doing that versus saying, yeah, I have to go on a diet because my doctor says if I don't, I'm going to die. When you just change the spell around and your body's going to naturally move towards something that is of positive nature. That's just how spells work. It's just really how spells work, folks. Let me just get my... There we go. Looking at your comments. We chose to come here. That's possible. JMC, we already are trapped here. That's possible. Well, people get trapped in the metaverse. I'm not. Because obviously I have this Prison Planet series, and when you immediately look at the word prison, you're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. We're trapped. Are we really trapped? Are we? Did something force us down here and it will not let us out? Is that really the truth? We can throw theories all day long of what it is, how it works, but they will come down to just a theory. Right? I mean, that's really 1 + 1 = 2 fact. I think and has more merit is, and I think all of you would agree, is if we have a choice to leave, how do you leave? How do you get out? That's what I'm interested in, which is in Prison Planet 2. I showed you that. What I feel anyway. Stop playing the game. Stop engaging. Like I said, I just the other day, I failed in the sense of failing. I didn't not engage. I engaged. And I paid the price for it. And then you get people, that don't like you. And then they're teaming up with other people that don't like you. And then you just get this burst of energy at you. And then your primal, your devil, your ego just wants to freaking lash out. Oh yeah? Well, I'll tell you. And, that's what I was doing. And I look back and I'm like, that was not the right move to make, in the sense of right move. That wasn't the best move to make, I should say. So I made the commitment. I said, this is it. My goal now is to strive, and I would encourage all of you to do that. Stop engaging on social media. And then the next step would be, when you observe your posts on social media, don't get emotionally involved with them. That's the next step. Because the mind is the precursor to the body. The body is the instrument of the mind. So if you type on the keyboard your comments and engage on a post, and, well, I'll tell you, that's one step. And then if you don't do that, you pull back, but you still look at the post and your mind engages, that is still the same kind of energy. It's just a precursor to that. It may be a little less and watered down, but nonetheless, it's still part of that. You're still adding to. That's why I always encourage people, don't share your freaking personal life on social media. Because people are, even if you have so many people observing these posts, and you know as well as I do, a majority of these people that are observing and reading your posts, they're not commenting, but they're still reading your posts. And at that same time they're reading your posts, they're giving you their thoughts. And you don't even know what they're thinking, but you're getting it anyway. And if you don't really know how magic works and you don't know how to transmute the energy, you're going to absorb it like missiles. So the best thing you can do is just stay private with your life. Don't tell the world what the hell's going on in your life. I'm going to read something to all of you. Something that was very profound by a friend of mine on social media. This is something I've been it hit home for me. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. And I'm gonna probably engage with this person to do maybe a podcast. I don't know if this person will agree to do a podcast with me, but this is so profound. I'm telling you all of this because I feel like it's worthy of telling you. I really resonated with it. And it's kind of like, I resonated with it because I'm kind of in line with what this person says on winning the game of life. So here we go. It says you can opt out of the food chain. You can opt out of the food chain via the following steps. Number 1, make peace with your own programmed behavior of being an energy predator, which means needing another person to validate you, give you sex, ego, food, security, money, attention, etc. Get all your energy food from your own vine and fig tree, which is the connection to source. So you stop being energetic food when you also no longer feed upon others. And it says this is a stopper for most, as we are programmed to be on the hunt for energy food from others or from things in the 3D world that create a brain state change, addictions in parentheses, and thus we get a fix or a hit to the brain that causes the chemicals to be enhanced or start to implode or explode, the false high. How profound is that? You want to get out of the game? Stop being an energy predator. Whoo! It was just completely mind-blowing to me, this passage. Make peace with yourself. Let go of your programmed habits. Let go of your past programming. Who you're pissed off at. Why you're angry at this person. Go make peace with that. You have contracts. The majority of you still have contracts with your past. And it just keeps showing up in your now moment. And you keep reliving it. And some of you don't see it because they're blind spots. What is an energy predator? Somebody that needs something from somebody else. Some people out there need to get attention to survive. They're not self-sufficient. Some people were put into a position of life where they were abused. And now they need you for the validation of that. Some people give you chaos because that is all they know. They need to give you the chaos so you'll react to the chaos and they can take that energy. They don't know this. But that's what happens. And I can authentically tell all of you right here that I am not immune to this. I have lived through these scenarios. That's why this really hit home for me. A lot of you need to be validated from other people. A lot of you need others to get attention from. A lot of you need a partner so you can get their energy. I just want them to love me, and I get that part. And then you would just go back to, well, that's the human being experience. I get that. I'm not debating that. But when you can stand on your own 2 feet and not need something from somebody, I feel like this person is spot on. You will level up. And this may be the closest thing to describing how to leave this place. Right there. Some of you ain't going to tolerate these notions that I just said. You won't have it. But if you put yourself in check and you observe your life personally, are you an energy predator? I'm a content creator, right? I make videos, I do research. I take my research that I find, I do my graphics because I'm artistic. So I take my artistic kind of endeavors, I blend them in with my decoding and my research, being a scientist, being that person who likes to research, and then I put it out on the world stage in the shape of videos. What do I get out of that when I put those videos out there? I'm not asking anybody for money. I don't monetize my channel. But do I still get something from that? Am I an energy predator? Well, that's going to come down to an opinion. And if we're authentic with ourselves, how can you answer that with yourself, with you? These are heavy things. It's heavy. It's heavy, man. Because your identity, your ego, it wants to survive. Your identity, your ego is a survival. It's an archetype. You created it. Your I am. You created that. Ever since you were a kid born into this world and you started to learn language and went to school and then started to learn from your environment, you created the person you are today, which is the I am. I am. How many times do you say that? I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go out to eat. I'm going to go visit my friend. I am. I'm this, I'm that. That's your identity. And it's inescapable. And that's why balance, homeostasis, the dead center, the bullseye is where it's at. Not the right-hand side, not the left-hand side. Nope, I don't believe in that. The middle is where it's at. That's where the most power is. So it's just really interesting, man, this, to opt out of the food chain. Like this is theoretical, right? This these aren't absolutes, I'm telling you. But like this is all of us right here, right there. Let me just, hold on. Okay. So this is the identity right here. Card 5, the Pope, the dictator. This is you, this is me. House number 5 in astrology, which is ruled by the sun. The sun rules this. As above, so below. As above, so below. Identity, 5, pentagram, the 5. It's man, it's woman. The pentagram becomes the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. It's a 5-sided polygonal shape because it's the identity. This thing can mess you up. It wants things. It needs power to survive. If you don't feed the primal, you're going to hear about it. Your stomach starts to growl. Feed me. That's your primal. I'm tired. I don't feel good. I need love. I have to have sex. I need satisfaction. That's all primal. The spirit inside of you, the son, doesn't need a damn thing. This doesn't need anything from us. When you go stare at it in nature, go yell at it. Go tell it to go away next time it goes up in the sky. See how that goes. All we have to do is observe nature and behave accordingly. Pamela, you don't have to kill the ego. You will not kill the ego when you're in the avatar. You need it. Here's the 5. Here's the 1-5. A hierarchy of the 5. You want to be the guy at the top, not the 2 at the bottom. You want to be the top of the food chain. That's what you want to be. Alex, what is your opinion on these numbers? 289 and 76. 76 is the Wizard of Oz. 76 is osmium, the element osmium. It's a dead giveaway. And osmium is the Wizard of Oz. In my Superstar Decoded Part 3 coming out, I will show with clear and convincing support that the 13 elements make up the 12 apostles plus the Christ, which is aluminum, and it will be tied to the Wizard of Oz. So the astrology wheel is the Wizard of Oz, 76. The 289 is tied to Moscovium and the number 115, which is possibly used to make that. The 115 is tied to the identity, tied to the devil card. And Moscovium, the element 115, has an atomic weight of 289, and Moscovium supposedly was used in UFOs. Supposedly. I don't know. Wasn't there. What do I think about the Magician card? I love it. I mean, the Magician card is the first card, and it's the card that we all use for our identity. Let me show all of you this. There it is. I've shown this before in many other decodes or in many other lives. Here's the Magician, card 1. The co-partner of this card is card 3, which is the Empress. Card 3 and card 1. This is 13 right here. This is magic through creation. Magician is magic, Empress is creation. Magic through creation, 13. That's what 13 means. That's why 13 is tied to illumination. The 13th element on the periodic table is aluminum, illumination. If you ever see the word AL, A-L, it means illumination in abbreviation. 1 is A, 12 is L. 1 plus 12 is 13. Illumination, aluminum. Aluminum has an atomic weight, has many isotopes. Its average is 26, which is tied to iron, which is our blood. Adam and Eve equal 26. Yod-Heh-Vav equals 26. What's my thoughts on Norse mythology? I love it. I've decoded a lot of the Norse stuff. Matter of fact, the decode I have coming out with the Shemitah and the Golden Jubilee 50th anniversary has Norse mythology because I have Thor in there. Because Thor is tied to Jupiter, and Jupiter's tied to the Shemitah, which is the harvest. Anyway, I have a sneak peek of, I think I'll probably show that if, let me see how many people we got here. I've got kind of a smaller crowd tonight, but thanks everybody for showing up tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. Even to those of you that are here and you don't like me, because I know there are some people in the audience that don't like me, and that's totally fine. I'll just take your energy and transmute it. That's the cool part. People don't like me because they don't agree with me. I mean, that's, I think, or maybe they don't like my hair. Maybe they don't like my silver necklace. Maybe they don't like my face. Maybe they don't like my t-shirt. I don't know. People don't like a lot of people for so many weird reasons. Ho'oponopono, that's great. That's the Hawaiian. Joe Vitale in his great book, can't think of the name of it now, but talks about the Ho'oponopono and the whole concept behind that. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm going to give you a really quick story. This is kind of funny. You guys will get a chuckle out of this. This is the mentality that I have to deal with. Maybe you can appreciate this. So I have somebody I had to block. Somebody who is very, very low frequency from my observation point. I've had to block him on social media, this person. So I get this message on social media from another avatar they're using, a new name. And they start off the messages with, hey, rookie, or I don't know. It was just all this nonsense about, I don't know anything about decoding. I'm doing it all wrong, blah, 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 blah. And after a few days of ignoring the messages, I finally get, why don't you, this is how little people pay attention to what they're saying. I then get a message saying, you should really decode me because I'm the real deal. And I thought to myself, didn't you just start off the conversation days ago that I don't know what I'm doing? That's the mentality I get. It's just, and it's comical. This was comical to me. This is kind of the persecution I have coming my way. And then I just block. I'm at the point now, ignore block. Totally fine with that. It's just fun. I'm telling you, man. It's funny. It's like, did you even read what you put in the very message a few days ago that I'm this and I'm that, and then you're asking me to decode you? Oh, God. It's just funny. Okay. So now that I have all of you here, let me give you my, are you guys ready for my sneak peek? So I'm going to be reenacting random thoughts. I'm going to be skipping number 9 because I still have to go back to big shout out to Flynn and Sylvia, the winners of Random Thoughts contest I did a couple of years back now, I think. I have to do the Random Thoughts number 9, but I want to revise that because I have so many little snippets of random thoughts that I've been putting out on my social media page, like 3 posts of one topic and 4 posts of this. And I have so many different little smaller decodes that I can do. And Random Thoughts is bringing small random thoughts together and decoding them and lumping them all into one decode. So I have Random Thoughts number 10 coming out. I'm going to work on it. And I decided to bring in a piece of The Truman Show. And I'm going to give a shout out to somebody who posted something on my podcast with Jordan, Let's Talk About Saturnalia. He had posted something on there and talking about The Truman Show, and he put something out there that triggered me, and I started to decode it, and I was like, wow. So I'm going to share that with all of you here just in a second. And this is going to be very, very profound. So let's get into that. Let me get into it right now. Show you what this is all about. Okay. So this will be one of the topics of Random Thoughts number 10, The Truman Show. The Truman Show. And a big shout out to this person right here, RowFlow17. I don't know who you are. This is your avatar name. But this person right here put this comment on my podcast with Jordan, I think it was, Let's Talk About Saturnalia, and he said, to bring it back to your Truman Show decode, and on the note of the Queen's Jubilee year, because Jordan talks about that Jubilee year coming up, the 78th, how's it going to end? And this was the little pin or the badge that Sylvia wears in the movie, who's trying to get Truman out of the Truman Show. She was like an extra in the movie, and she's now trying to get Truman out as one of the stars of the movie. And this how's it going to end has a 70 for its outcome in numerology. So let me go to that right now. So this is what I found. Here it is. This is Natalie. I can't remember pronounce her last name. I'll be able to get to that in the end. But here is her, and she's trying to get Truman out of the Truman Show. Now this is, folks, this is where do you draw the line with this reality being scripted? Like, this is so crazy, what I'm about to show you. So insane to think that these producers are sitting down before they do the show, before they make the script, before they write the screenplay, before they cast the characters. They're going to these depths of picking these characters. I just think it's great. You would never get the movie done. So anyway, this is the pin that she wore. How's it going to end? And it's a total of the number 70. So you're like, okay, that's interesting. So where do we go from there? Well, of course, I'm going to measure it into my methodology. And the very first one I started out with was the string of the golden ratio. Now, this is somewhat new. I've been working with this for many, many months now. I just haven't come out with it, but I decided to come out with it not too long ago. I don't remember the first time I used it, but here it is. Where does the number 70 appear in the string of the golden ratio? Well, it occupies two digits, 64, which is of course tied to our codones, and 65. The number 70 occupies digits 64 and 65. 64 is the possible codones in our DNA. So how's it going to end? It's going to end with our DNA, of course. But the 64 and 65 added up is the number 129. Okay, so hold that thought. So we're going to go into the second layer, and that is measuring it through the string of pi, which I've been using for years now. The number 70 occupies digits 96 and 97. 96 is the yin-yang. How's it going to end? The yin-yang is going to be the starting point of that. And remember, going back to the golden ratio, it's the number 64, which is our codones in our DNA. But the total outcome of 96 and 97 from the 70 appearing in the string of pi is the number 193. How's it going to end? Meaning the Truman Show. So we have these two right here together. Is the 129 on the left, the number 70 occupying the two digits 64 and 65 in the golden ratio, and then the number 70 occupying digits 96 and 97 in the string of pi, 129 and 193. Get out your calculators. What do you add up to? And this was just so comical to me. 322. How's it going to end? Well, obviously, what does skull and bones mean? It means death. That's how it's going to end. So moving forward, I decided to take Jim Carrey, and here it is, Natasha McElhone. She's from Britain. Jim Carrey's from Canada. I decided to do their timestamp. She's trying to save him, get him out of the Truman Show. Now, I'm not going with their years because she was born in 69, he was born in 62, just the days on the calendar. January 17th, Jim Carrey, December 14th, Natasha. 331 days span in between, which is not only just any number, it's the frickin' 67th prime number. What's the 67? Tied to the sun. How's it going to end? We have skull and bones and, of course, man dying. Well, the 67 tied to their births is the 19th prime number. The 19th card in the tarot is the Sun card. Going further, the number 19 is the 8th prime number. And just to the right of that is the picture of the Sun's pattern called the Analema. This is real nature now, folks. This is not me trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. This is not a theoretical position that I'm trying to express to you. This is real stuff here. This is what the Sun's pattern makes as it moves through the sky, the Analema, the figure 8, and that's why the Sun card is card number 19. So there's nothing devilish about the tarot. It's tied directly into nature and numbers. And how's it going to end? Is the Sun somehow, some way involved in the ending of the show? Not the Truman Show, our reality, the game of life. So, of course, when you look at the days on the calendar, Jim Carrey born on the 17th, Natasha on the 14th, that's the 1714. Most of you should know what that 714 is linked to. It's linked to Lucifer, and Lucifer is linked to the Sun. How's it going to end? And then Jim Carrey's birthday is Earth, and then her birthday is time. Is this telling us that the time of Earth is going to end through the death of Skull and Bones, in the sense of Skull and Bones meaning our Skull and Bones, and the Sun and Lucifer? And last but not least, I don't know how, this is how crazy, this right here is the nail in the coffin. This is how I know that the people that are casting these characters are not casting these characters. They are being used to cast the characters. How's it going to end at 70? 349 is the 70th prime number. And what is December 14th? It's the birthday of Natasha. And December 14th, being a common year and a leap year, occupies digits 348 and 349. 349 is the 70th frickin' prime number. And she's the girl wearing the frickin' pin that equals the number 70, tied to her birthday. So where do we draw the line with what I'm showing you here? And is these people trying to mock you? They're trying to pull the woolly over your eyes. Like, I'm going to screw people over by casting these characters. Go watch Natasha. I watched a whole bunch of YouTube clips. Just some random interviews. Does it look like she's trying to screw you over? Like, I'm going to go mock these people. Folks, there's no mocking going on. This is telling you the story. This is telling you the story. So thank you to Roflo, number 17. All right. So there it is. That was my little sneak peek. It's just the last slide I gave you with her birthday being the 349th day of the year, and it's the 70th prime number, and how's it going to end at 70? I mean, how else are we to describe that? Really? Mankind is consciously doing that. They consciously picked her because she was born on the 349th day of the year. And they made this part of the script, like, how's it going to end? Like, they don't have anything else to do. Like, that script is just solely centered on how's it going to end. The rest of the script, go watch my Truman Show, one of my highest watched decodes. And you go watch that and you tell me that you think man's trying to mock you and they're trying to screw you over and pull the wool over your eyes and make fun of you. That's crazy thinking. Crazy thinking. Folks, we're living in a reality that is simulated. We're being used for our energy. We are amusement. We are rats in a cage. Scientists use rats and mice to experiment on. Do you think it just stops there? Question mark. And if you do, how are you to support that? Folks, the life is an experiment. Go watch my Rat in a Cage part 1 and part 2. Then come back and revisit this podcast I'm doing. Question yourself. Put yourself in ponder. We're living in an augmented reality already. It's just now going into the virtual reality world. This is a virtual reality world already. I don't need glasses or goggles. You don't need them. They're inside your eyeball. Folks, these people, these musicians, I am not involved in Hollywood. I am not involved in the music industry. Yet my life is coded and scripted. How do you explain that? Those of you that are doubters, I didn't sell my soul out. I'm just me. I'm a free Logan. Doing my thing, enjoying life, having the time of my life. And I find stuff like that. And I'm not scratching my head anymore like, what does this mean? No, I damn well know what it means. And if we're just going to be politically correct, you got to be a moron if you don't know what this means. Pulling my Mars card out, you got to be a freaking moron if you can't see the handwriting on the wall. If you can't see it. Straight up using my primal right now. You have to be a moron if you can't see that. That's me being an asshole right now. As blunt as I can be. This is just, I'm just showing you, folks, it's crazy because I have so many decodes that people don't watch. And then they're like, oh no, that this is, it's just, and they're in the static. It's just, look, you're supposed to be here, by the way. You know that, right? Like you could have been anywhere tonight. If you were joining me on the Syncretism Society with Danny, you could have been anywhere tonight. You decided to come there. Why? Because you're after something. You're after something. What are you after? Are you after bragging rights? Are you after information that you can use as arsenal on social media to try to prove somebody wrong? Or are you after your own truth to figure out what the hell you're doing here? Because it should be the last answer. You're after your own truth to figure out what the hell you're doing here. That was I guess that was my rant for tonight. Do I see autism being cured? Yeah, I do, of course, because everything goes in cycles. So JAOE says, China and Mark Zuckerberg have artificial moons and sun simulators. Well, I know I've seen, I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's just, I've seen a sun simulator that I think the country of China or Japan has made. I think, or Korea, I don't know. One of those countries. What the hell are they making it for? That's what I want to know. It's like people say, oh, the sun's is artificial. What planet are you on? How are you to prove that theory? Sure, maybe they have them right now. But I don't know. I mean, are trees artificial now? I mean, are we going to start going around saying, oh, those aren't real trees? Somebody made those trees and planted them. Or that ocean's not real. Where do we draw the line, folks? People do not have common sense. Not you. But people just don't have common sense anymore. Whew, man. "17 Joy, China put new sun up a few years ago. Great. Where's your proof? Where's your support?" I'm all open for that, but where is it? Where's the videos of it and the pictures? And are you saying that they just put it up to test it out? And again, I'm interested, what the hell are they making them for? The only logical conclusion that I can come to is that the sun that we have coming out in the sky every day is not going to come out. Sooner or later, it's on a timer, it's going to go down. And then we're going to need light. That would be where I would go towards all this. Ask yourself what do you really know? The reason why they have the birth certificates and other documents is because they're being used. There's no, you think that just stops right there? The people that are running the birth certificates are being used and manipulated. It doesn't stop there. They're not doing anything. They're following instructions. I don't know how people cannot see this. "17 Joy, if you have a video, go ahead and post it. And of course you can post it in here. Post it in here. Why can't you? And if not, send it to my email, decodeyourreality@gmail.com. I'm all for looking at it. Let's see what you got. But I'm very convinced that the sun that comes up here in Mexico is not an artificial sun. It is the real sun. It's the real McCoy. It's the real sun. Just like there's real trees outside, real leaves and real animals and real ants and real dirt. There's a real sun, there's a real moon. Elizabeth, how do we live without the sun? I don't know. I just, that's a great question. I have no idea. Chain Kitten, can I talk about dreams? I love sleep. I'm a huge fan of sleep. However, I just don't know where to go from there. You know, I mean, there are people that do lucid dreaming and keep track of their dreams. I'm just not at that level. I just enjoy sleep. Like, I can't wait to go to bed. I usually have a good night's sleep. I dream more. I would definitely say I dream more often now, like heavier, but I've always dreamed my whole life. But I don't know what it means beyond that. Like, dreams are an altered reality. I mean, you have the awake state, you have the sleeping state. And I'm not well versed in the area to give you my opinion on what I would think dreams would mean. But I wouldn't put my faith in my dreams, that's for sure. Personally. What is a vision board? A vision board is something where you create your visions in your mind and you put them on typically you get a big poster board, like 42 inches, and you buy a whole bunch of magazines and a glue stick and a pair of scissors, and you start cutting out pieces of the magazine, words and photographs of what you want to have happen in your future reality. That's a vision board. If you're a graphic designer, you can do one using, Photoshop, etc. I'm a huge fan of them. Huge fan of vision boards. Yeah, the last page of the Bible says, "You will not need the sun nor the moon, for I will be with you. For I will be with you." Well, whatever that means. I mean, personally, a big portion of me, thinks that the Bible is going to lead you into transhumanism. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Do I remember the sun used to be yellow and now the sun is white? No, I think for me, I'm just being authentic. The sun is the same color as it's always been. When it's high in the sky, it's very white. When it starts to come down below towards the horizon, it becomes yellow, and then it becomes orange, and it becomes red. It goes through the chakras it either goes down over the horizon or it moves away from you. It goes to the lower chakras. So for me personally, myself, the sun has been the same. It's always been. I was born on a Sunday. I got the sun tattooed on my hand. I'm a sun worshiper. I know the sun very well. I go out in there all the time. Doesn't mean that I'm the authoritative figure on the sun, but to me, and I study the sun's patterns, that is the real natural sun in the sky. Nothing artificial about it. But is it changing? Perhaps. I mean, there's more radiation coming through. Perhaps maybe it's about ready to, I've postulated the idea of the sun going out because it's on a timer and it's going to be replaced. And Don't Look Up the movie Don't Look Up could be talking about the sun or the moon or both maybe falling to Earth, or maybe a solar flare. Some people think it's a solar flare. These are possibilities that we cannot leave out. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'm going to throw some truth bombs out at you guys just here in a second. I'm going to give you my rendition of Don't Look Up. I'm going to give you kind of like the skinny of it. I talked about it on the Syncretism Society. I'm going to throw it out here since all of you are here. Rudolf Steiner, yes, he does have some great work. I love reading his research. Mind Movies is a website to do vision boards. Okay, yeah, I've heard of that, Mind Movies. I'm huge with vision boards because it's mental visualization. Could I explain phases on sun and moon? Well, it's interesting because I went to some astronomers online, some amateurs, and they have shown their visions of the sun through the telescope. And it doesn't look like with the filters on, it's just a round sphere. And then when you take those filters off, you're going to get, the sun's coming out and what the sun kind of appears through what we normally see it as. But I mean, faces on the sun, I don't know. I've never, faces on the moon, you could make anything appear in clouds in the moon if you look hard enough. I know obviously the standard is the rabbit on the moon, for sure. Bill Gates wants to block out the sun. I have a hard time with that. I just don't think that's even possible to block out the sun. I think the chemtrails that they've been spraying have way more to do with things that we're not thinking about than what people are just automatically kind of alluding to. Because remember, folks, they're breathing this stuff in as well. So there has to be something else beyond the concept of what we think it is. We're not making it. I don't have a favorite element. I love them all. I have so many go-tos. Because essentially the source energy of everything that emanates from is all the elements. So there really isn't a favorite of mine, although I've been really invested into the last element, number 118, which is Ogeneson, which is the OG. It's the original gangster. The OG, the 118, which is tied to Scorpio and Aquarius, which are the two of the four fixed signs. 118, OG, the original gangster of the periodic table. You see, these are just my suggestions. I'm reading some of your comments like, Kirk, we should block out Bill Gates. And folks, whatever it is that you think about him, we label him as the antagonist in the true sense. He's the Darth Vader. But if we just stop observing him, if you stopped observing Bill Gates if you stop talking about him, what do you think he would do? Do you think he would stop doing what he's doing? Here, I'll give you the answer to that. Hell no, he wouldn't. Just because you eliminated him from your life doesn't mean he's going to stop doing what he's doing. He has a mission. He's programmed to do something specific. And you may not like it, but he affects your life because you're paying attention to it. In the truest sense. He has power because there is so much energy on that dude. He is an archetype. And if we go in just straight up Star Wars, he's a Darth Vader character. He draws his power from you because you keep talking about him. You keep talking about him in your conversations, how much you don't like him, how much he's an asshole. And guess what? Guess where the energy goes? Straight to him. And he gladly takes it. Every time he does a commercial and does marketing and he talks about this and that and you get angry at that, guess what gets that energy? He gets it. And the intelligent guy that he is, he probably knows this. I would think he does. So why are you giving him your energy? Rookie move, in my opinion. Stop giving these people your energy. If you didn't give these people your energy, what would you do with that energy? Put it into yourself. Build yourself up. Give it to somebody that is going to do something good with it. Yoda energy. You see, you giving your energy to these characters is playing the game. Observing these people is far different than giving them your energy and playing the game and like, I'm going to enter the game and be on the court. Bad move, in my opinion. He's going to do what he is programmed to do with or without your consent, with or without your comments, with or without your letters that you write to Congress telling them how bad he is and all that kind of stuff. That energy goes right to that guy that you don't like. And he'll transmute it into what his mission is. That's it, folks. That's how it works. I mean, you know, what do you spend your time with personally? Why are you here watching this transmission? You're not here for me. You're here to level up. You're here to become a better person in the sense of becoming better. You're here to have a better experience in the sense of having a better experience. So when you go out tomorrow and you're on your social media, what are you giving your energy to? What commands your energy? Do you command it or are you commanded? That's the big question I would throw you away. Are you the commander or are you being commanded? Just be an observer. Go have fun with your life. Decode yourself. Level up. Be the best little devil you can be. And I mean, if you can't, you know, and again, please don't be this person that says, I don't own a TV. I don't watch TV. But you're over there, but you're on the internet and you're just like on social media and you're typing in websites and your computer, your phone is your television. So that logic, that's all nonsense. Just be authentic. You are being influenced. To what degree? I don't know. I don't live out your shoes. Don't really care, man. I'm worried. I'm concerned about my life and me. I'm trying to raise my frequency because when my frequency goes up, there's a ripple that gets sent out and the people around me feel it. And hopefully they're going to level up. And that's just a big leveling up aspect. That's what we want to do. The name of this game is to level up. If you're involved in the static on the world stage, you're leveling down. Can't be both ways. If you start to give your energy to these people that will gladly take it, you are essentially giving them your gas. Like, here's my gas. Just go ahead and pump away. Take all my gas. And then you're left with a car that's on freaking fumes. You got no gas left in your tank because you're just too busy giving it to everybody else or letting them siphon off you. It's time to put yourself in check. I just put myself in check the other day. Realized I was just giving my gas to people that you're not giving me any gas back. Level up. Mav2276, I've already done a XRP decode in my cryptocurrency. Please go check out my cryptocurrency decode. I clearly put XRP in there. I decoded it. I showed the esoteric symbology of XRP, how it's tied to the element tin, which is the 50th element, which is the merger of worlds, I feel anyway. And I feel like it's a big coin. But I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not here to give you any financial advice. I'm just an observer. Kirk, thanks for your donations. My PayPal, I don't know. I don't have my phone's on airplane mode, so I don't get disturbed. So I'm not sure, but where did you send it to? I don't know, but thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Big shout out to your donations, your Patreons. I appreciate all of you. You know, if you resonate with my message, there are people that don't. But I don't care. I don't care if they don't resonate with my message. Don't care anymore. You know, if you got into a room with, like, I'm almost at 5,000 friends on social media. If I got into a room with those 5,000 people, I want you to think about this. If you took all the people in your friend list on Facebook and you brought them into a room and you went into that room, how many of those people do you think you would ever meet? How many would you like? Think about this now. It wouldn't be that many. You would gravitate towards certain people. There would be your primal self gravitating towards certain people that you're attracted to. It would be a big melting pot. But it's just like, how many people would you actually end up talking to and resonating with that are on your friend list, in your friends of your social media account? Not many. If we observe this game that we're playing, we have to be authentic and realistic with what we're talking about here. We're dealing with a zombie apocalypse right now. In the sense of, what does a zombie mean? To me, at this beginning stage, it's somebody who's not aware that we're in this kind of reality. And I am grateful for where I'm at. It reminds me to be grateful for where I'm at because I was once there too. So I don't label people like, I don't use the word sheeples and this, because I was there before. I was there. I remember I was there. I'm grateful for where I'm at now. I'm responsible for my own ass. And you're responsible for yours. And that's it. Some of you are just so bent on just like being involved in other people's lives. Why? Examine the power behind crypto. Any money worth anything are backed by the sun and moon, aka gold and silver. Yeah, and the sun and moon could drop from the stars or the heavens and drop to earth, and that will be the creation of the cryptocurrency market. And remember, nothing is solidified. Nothing is set in stone, as they say. So just because silver and gold are the currencies that back fiat currencies, it doesn't mean that is subject or not subject to change. That could change at any time. We're in a new age. There are no rules in a new age. New rules begin to get implied, and then we start to live through this new age. So just because gold has always been the backing standard doesn't mean that it will be that moving forward. We cannot be attached to these ideas of what once was, because we are moving into something that we don't know is going to take place. If we really kind of break it all down, folks, we don't know what's going to happen. All right, so let's, what time is it? I'm not going to go late because I'm actually going to do something fun and filled for my day tomorrow with the gang here in Puerto. I guess we're going to be going to a cenote. So I have to get up kind of earlier than my usual. So I'm going to jump in. Let's get some, let's pop the phone number on here. And those of you that are been around with me for a while, please let other people call in first. I know we have our usuals, and I appreciate all the support that I get from everybody. But let's get some new callers. And please, those of you that have called in before or want to call in, have a point to your question so we can keep this flowing nicely. Okay, that's just kind of my standard foundation right now. What's the meaning of the 8 clubs? The 8 clubs is a very highly psychic card. Please go to it'sallinthecards.com. Here, I'm going to put it in there. Those of you that don't know your birth cards, if you don't know the meaning of your cards, it's all in thecards.com. There it is. If you don't know what your card means, and what I'm saying is that when you go to your card and you read that passage, I'm almost certain it'll be at least 90% accurate. What if you were to memorize that? What would happen to your life? That's my challenge to all of you. Go get your card. Go find your card and go memorize your passage. Become that. Allow it to become you. What do I think about Israel opening up their bank and electric coin block? I don't know. I don't see. I'm not really heavily involved in the news, in the mainstream news, so I don't even know anything about it. I'm not interested in it. So much life is just sucking you dry, and it's like, where do you put your attention? I'm into building, experiencing, having a great time, decoding, researching, throwing things out there for all of you. That's what I spend almost all my time on. Before I do that, I want to talk about, let me see how many people we got here. Okay. So let me dive into, we'll take some phone calls, but let me dive into Don't Look Up. I talked about this on the Syncretism Society. I'm going to share it with all of you, what I have found so far. I shared this with Nigel. If you haven't watched the last podcast I did with Nigel, Devil's Playground 3, Harry was MIA, but me and Nigel joined forces last night. It was kind of last minute, but I talked about this, and I'm going to talk about it again. Those of you that have seen the movie Don't Look Up. New movie just came out on January 3rd called Moonfall. Moonfall. What is it? What do these mean? What are they alluding to? You know, folks, there have been countless movies telling scenarios of what possibly could come to fruition. And guess what? It never happened. So why now are people so drawn to these movies, and it's a huge buzz? People talking about, well, don't look up, you know, oh my God, it's a comet coming, and it's just this big, huge buzz now. Why are we drawn to that now? Why do we really think that's really going to happen? So here are my scenarios. In Don't Look Up, the date that they threw out there at the very beginning of the movie that caught my eye, or caught my ear, was 6 months and 14 days. So Leonardo DiCaprio, in the movie Don't Look Up, says in the beginning of the movie, the comet is going to hit in about 6 months and 14 days. So you had the 614. Immediately, I knew what that was tied to. That's tied to Donald Trump's birthday. Trump was born on June 14th. And the 614 in the string of pi is found at the 1011th decimal digit, which is tied to the sun. 111. Anytime you see the 111, it can be tied to the sun, because the magic square of the sun is 111, 6 rows of that, and it equals 666. So Donald Trump's birthday, 6/14, June 14th, in the string of pi, the 614 is found at the 1011th decimal digit. How about that? 111. He's got blonde hair. Says he's the chosen one. So immediately, right off the bat, Don't Look Up had the referencing of Trump. When you go 6 months and 14 days from the release date of the movie, it had 2 release dates, December 5th and December 10th. When you go from December 5th, it puts you on the calendar of June 19th. 6 months and 14 days from December 5th, the release date of that movie, June 19th. And what is the 19th card in the tarot? The freaking sun. It ain't no comet, but it's pretty close to what possibly could be happening. Solar flare, maybe the sun going out. The next date was December 10th, which was the other release date. Going 6 months and 14 days, it would be June 24th. What's really interesting about the June 24 and the June 19 is in the cards of illumination. This is where it gets really interesting. Before I tell you that, folks, the main star of the movie, this is something that most people don't pick up on. Main star of the movie, Leonardo DiCaprio. Right? That's the guy who comes and tries to tell the president and warn the president of what's going on. Leonardo DiCaprio. What is Leonardo? It's Leo. What is Leo? The lion. What is the Leo, the lion in astrology ruled by? The frickin' sun. So you have the main star of the movie, who's the scientist who has to tell the president that there's a comet that's going to hit the earth in 6 months and 14 days, tied to the 1011th decimal digit in the string of pi, tied to June 19th. 19 is the sun card. And you have this actor's name is Leo, which is tied to the ruler of the 5th house, Leo, the lion, the sun. Then the other actor who found the comet, Jennifer Lawrence, was also in a movie called The Hunger Games. And that's all dystopian. What would happen if something hit the earth and decimated it and a lot of people would die and stuff? And could you have that dystopian Hunger Games situation? I think so. And then on January 3rd, when that movie Moonfall came out, the star of that movie, one of them, was another person from The Hunger Games, Donald Sutherland. So you have Donald Sutherland in Moonfall and Jennifer Lawrence in Don't Look Up, and they're both referencing something falling down to the earth, and they're both stars in the movies, The Hunger Games series. 6 months and 14 days into the future of December 5th puts you into June 19th, which again is the Jack Clubs card. June 19th is the Jack Clubs card. The Jack Clubs card, what card number is this? 24. Guess what Donald equals? 24. Guess what Trump equals? 24. So is this telling us, perhaps, nothing's going to fall from the sky? Is it telling us perhaps that Trump will be put back into office? And the selection, so it's all a big show anyway, that movie is going to come out and say that Biden and Harris they won on, fraudulent votes, as Trump said, his whole campaign party. So 6 months and 14 days, Trump's birthday, that puts it at June 19th. June 19th is the 24th card, the Jack Clubs card. Donald and Trump both equal 24. Is that a coincidence? And then we go December 10th, the second release date of Don't Look Up, puts you at June 24th, and then we go right back to this card right here. So no matter which way you slice it, you're going to come to this card right here. And you're going to come to June 19th, which is the Sun card. So are we going to see perhaps an exchange of changing of the guards again? Remember that the stock market, the word stock is 19. That's the 19th card. And then the word market is 18. And it's this. So we have stock and market in the two tarot cards from numerology. Stock is 19, market is 18. Stock market. Guess what runs the stock market? The freaking sun and moon, not man. Man's being manipulated. This is what runs it. So if these fall from the sky, or one of them falls from the sky, is that what this is telling us? Or is it just an allegory? Because the stock market and the financial market will collapse right around the summer of 2022, which is what they've been alluding to for so long. We know it's not going to last. We know the currency exchange has to happen. And does Don't Look Up meaning don't look at the top of the stock market? It's going to collapse. Is that what they're referencing? But they're using these and pinning it on these in comets and natural disasters. Or will we see perhaps the sun fall from the sky? The last piece I want to tell all of you is June 19th, which is this card right here, is the 170th day of the year. 170 and 171 in leap years. 171, as I showed in my Superstar Decoded, is the patterns of the sun. The boomerang shape that it makes, it's 171 on June 19th. And that 171 and the 170 is tied to sunglasses I show. We got a phone call coming in. Let's take this phone call. We'll break it up a little bit. 629, go ahead.
What's going on, Logan?
Hey, man, how you doing? If you're on speakerphone, can you put it on your headset? I mean, can you put it on your receiver? Can you hold your phone?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think I'm on speakerphone, but
okay, cool. Good. Cool. Who's talking?
Hey, so my name is Jeremy.
Jeremy. All right, man. Nice to. Is this the first time you called in, or have you called in before?
No, this is the first time I've been able to call in. I actually got a changed phone services, and my other service, for whatever reason, wouldn't let me call with WhatsApp. But no, man, I've been watching for quite a while, so I'm a big fan. But,
Thank you for your support.
Yeah, no problem, man. So one question that I had, I know you're talking about the sun and the moon here, and so my birthday is the 18th, which would be the moon. My chart ruler is also.
Well, wait a minute. You're wait a minute. Hold on. You're 18 of what?
Of April 18th.
Okay, hold on a second.
Which would be.
Hold on a minute. one sec, brother.
All right. And also, that was me asking if you got my PayPal. I sent you PayPal.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
Night.
no. So so what's interesting about the April 18th? Yeah, loosely it's tied to the moon because the 18 is always going to tie to the moon and the 5 of clubs. But your birth card is actually the 3 diamonds, which is the same birth card as Donald Trump.
Yes, on the cards of illumination.
Yes.
Right, but the tarot, wouldn't it be? It'd be the 3 Pentacles.
Correct.
The tarot, wouldn't it?
Correct. And Donald Trump had a TV show called The Apprentice, didn't he? And the 3 of Pentacles is called the Apprentice card.
Got it.
Yep.
Hey, but my question was, so the sun, if the sun is Lucifer, the illuminated one, which I thought it was Venus, but it makes more sense for it to be the sun. Then what would be the moon? Where would the moon fall into the story?
That's
being the mother.
Well, let me throw another curveball at you, right? So I have said, and I have stated, is it possible that Lucifer is the sun? I had said, yes, Lucifer is the sun. I'm very commanding with that. But if the moon is a burnt out sun, let's just hypothetically say the moon was once the sun in the sky, right? What if that's Lucifer, the moon?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely controls a lot of people's emotions and dictates.
It would coincide with Jesus and Lucifer both equaling 74 in the English numerology cipher, and Jesus is Lucifer. Lucifer is Jesus. Jesus and Thomas are the 2 twins. So maybe Jesus and Lucifer are the moon and the epitome of the moon and the earth at the same time. There's so many different ways we can break this down.
What do you think about coming in through the sun or coming in through the moon and we exit through the sun as portals?
Yeah.
Through reincarnation.
Have you watched my my Prison Planet decodes?
Yes, more than like I've seen.
Okay, because I clearly showed the incarnation process with the sun, moon, and the earth, and without a shadow of a doubt, in my world, that is exactly how it works. I'm just not set on the moon or the sun being the in and out points. I can't prove either one. And to be honest with you, both of them have their say in which one gives and which one receives.
Right. Well, I definitely feel that the Earth plane is set up like a circuit board. With the way the energy flows, it's we're definitely being harnessed for energy.
Yep,
for sure.
Absolutely,
definitely.
Yeah,
so, but man, love the work, and that's really all I got. I was just gonna interject that and tell you.
I appreciate. I appreciate you. I appreciate the. Where are you calling from? Where are you at in the world?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Tennessee. All right, cool. I was gonna move to that area at one point. Yeah, that was on my radar.
There's a lot of. It's becoming kind of like Austin, everybody and their brothers trying to move and take it over. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure, man.
They're trying to get out of California.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them on that, but yeah, man.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for your support and your comments and the question as well. So you have yourself a grand night.
Thanks, man.
Much love, man. All right, take care.
Yeah, man.
So what's really fascinating about what a great caller, right? So and good questions. So when you look at card 32, let me just put this up. Bam, there we go. So when you look at the number 32, you start to look at, okay, what's the number next to 32? It's 33. 33 obviously has a big stigma around it with being tied to, the Masons and the typical garbage runaround stuff that you get attached to that. But it's just obviously beyond that. But if you just let's go to the temperature of 33 degrees. What happens to water, which is what we're primarily made up of? What happens to water at 33 degrees? What happens to water at 32 degrees? Obviously, it transmutes its state. It goes from a liquid to a solid. Not in the physical body, of course, but straight up water. 33 degrees, it's liquid. 32 degrees, it's a solid. So it's telling you that it goes from one exchange to the next. What I think is really fascinating is 32 is duality. It's telling you you're turning from spirit into physical matter. 33 to 32. And the 32nd card in the tarot is this one right here. If you're using the Fool as card 22. It's the 10 of Wands. And this card right here is taking the world upon your shoulders. What would you have to do when you come down and incarnate and become man or woman? You'd have the world of responsibility on your shoulders. That's exactly what this card means. Taking the world upon your shoulders. Tied to the 10 clubs, which is the 23rd card in the deck, which is tied to the words crown, blood, and history. And pineal. Right there. Taking the world upon your shoulders. 32. This is card 32. Think about what I'm showing you. 32. And then you'd have the Page of Wands being card 33. Going to the next level, leveling up. Jesus, Jesus. That's absolutely right. Jesus is us. We are the Christ. The Christ is love. We are love. That is what will win the game, is to be slightly alkaline, slightly 51%. In the Law 1 material, which is all about the book of Ra, it tells you that the ones that will graduate this earth plane will be 51% service to others. 51% service to others, not you. Service to others was what's going to win. And 51% is where you want to be, slightly alkaline. The blood is 7.3 to 7.4. The blood is very specific. It's slightly alkaline. It's not heavy alkaline, because you can die if you're heavy alkaline. It's not acidic or heavy acidic. It's slightly alkaline. It's in between 7 and 8. What are the two elements that make up 7 and 8? Nitrogen and oxygen. What is the air that we breathe primarily made up of? Nitrogen and oxygen. Oxygen oxidizes. Nitrogen is 14.003, which is 3.14 back. Well, it's a permutation of the 3.14. Nitrogen, which is the letter N. If you turn it on its side, it's the letter Z. You now have the Wizard of Oz. Nitrogen and oxygen is the Wizard of Oz. Glenn, why 52 cards in the deck? Because there's 52 weeks in a year. There are 4 suits. There are 4 seasons. Each suit has 13 cards, the ace through the king, and each season, spring, summer, fall, and winter, has 13 weeks. That's why. What is 56? What does 56 mean? 56 is tied to lights, camera, action. The words like lights, camera, action equal the number 56. We're living inside of a movie. It's a simulation. It's the light, the prism, and we're inside that light. We live inside of a movie. 56 is the movie. 5 is the throat. 6 is the third eye. It's the third eye swallowing the light, or the throat swallowing the light. Going down in a hole. 56 element is barium. We swallow a barium meal to take x-rays of the digestion system. Going down in a hole. It tells you in the elements on the periodic table. All the clues are in the periodic table. 56 element, barium. What's barium's average atomic weight? 137. 137 is the 33rd prime number. It's telling you it's swallowing the light going down. The light goes down into the hole. Creates the movie. All you got to do is look at a projector. Just look at a projector. If you look at this cell phone right here, imagine this is the lens of where the movie's going to come out. If you ever go to the movies and you look back up, you're sitting down, you're looking back up at the projector, you see the light coming out. Well, imagine this right here controls the light right there. It expands out. Oops, I don't know, I missed. But imagine this is the light hole right here. It expands out, it shoots the movie, and you're now in the movie. Part of the movie, part of the theater, part of the actor and the actress playing out your part. It's really simple to see these kinds of things when you start to look at them. And then what is the 56 card in the tarot telling you the story of how this reality works? Right there, the Six of Swords. The transition. This is a card of transition. What would 56 lights, camera, action? Coming down in a hole. Transition. Transitioning over. Moving it to something else. 56. Tied to the 33. 5 plus, if those of you that like to reduce down, you get the 11. 11 is the number of magic. 11 is the number of electricity and currency. It's the house of Aquarius. It's the me and we. If you look at the symbol of Aquarius, it's the M and the W, 13 and 23. Which is 65, which is, 35. But it's the transition. Card 56 now. Lights, camera, action. The transition of going from spirit into matter. 6 of spades in the cards of illumination is card number 45. What is 45 tied to? The element rhodium. The rhodium. The box. The cube. Rhodium is this. The cube that we live in. The black box. The Mecca. That's rhodium, 45. I showed that in my prison planet decode. The very first one. No, I'm sorry. Great architect of the universe. The very first one. The cube, the triangle, the rhodon circles. 45. And it's transitioning into that. You're going from a spirit into a physical matter down into the Pandora's box. Pandora's box equals 45. This is 45 in the 6 spades card. So it's just so easy when you have the cheat sheet or you have them memorized. Like, I don't have every single one memorized, but I'm getting close. And what is today? It's kind of interesting. Well, now that's this different card, but here was the card to start all off. This is card 45. This card was made in way by this card. This card was made from this card. Right there. Transition. 45, rhodium, the cube, the square, the box that we go into. The CPU, central processing unit, essentially. The brain. When you say we live in a computer, people can't handle that situation because it's not just that simple. Like, we live in a computer. It's much different than that. But essentially, we do. Pinker, if your question or if your comment is directed towards me, defensive, no, I just am not really interested in much of the mainstream. That's all. So sorry if I came across a certain way. I'm not really interested in much of the mainstream. So I don't really take much interest to it. God's created quantum and this fallen angel technology put in our dimension for us to reincarnate, but demons, archons hijacked humanity. Pretty interesting story, Jaoe, but let's see what Nigel's got to say. What's up, Nigel?
Not really interested. Hey, bro.
First things first. Yeah, use your handset, and then if you can just pause me because there's a backflow of.
Yeah, I'll pause.
Cool. What's going on, brother? Nigel from Devil's Playground in the house. What's happening, brother?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, this is not a question so much for you. It's almost rhetorical. But let's see what the guys in the chat think of this. You've just been talking about us living in a computer simulation. You've been talking about the sun, the moon perhaps being the old or previous sun. Now, I was talking to Harry earlier, and Harry said, say hi to Logan. Now, if you read Genesis, and God said, let there be light, Genesis 1:3, and all the way through Genesis, it's God said, God said. Well, who was there to hear God? Who was the witness that actually, essentially, documented what God said?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you look at the interlinear, God is the Elohim, Elohim being plural of Eloah. So let's assume that it's a group of entities, a group of beings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Elohim said. Well, it's like, the teachers at school said, or one of the teachers at school said. You're referring to a group of people or one particular person or entity. So the question has to be, who heard God say, let there be light? Who heard God say, let there be a firmament? Again, I relate that back to we've talked about the Free Guy movie,
Yep.
where the quote unquote God in that movie copied the original game. So that God said to someone, hey, let's copy this game. Let's make our own game. Let's make a simulation of our simulation. So again, the question has to be, when we blindly look at the Bible and read those words, and God said, well, who did he say it to? Who heard God say those words?
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, interesting things to definitely ponder on, my friend. That's for sure. That can go off so many different ways right there. My mind's just going in different directions right now. So.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Mine too. But I'll leave that with them. I'll leave that with the guys in the chat, and let's see what anyone can possibly come up with. As I say, I know it's what's your question, but it's not really a question for you. It's just it's a question that I think we need to ponder. I think we need to consider, especially since you just said that people can't or find it very difficult to accept the notion that we live in a simulation. And I don't want to. I'll be very careful about about how I'm going to put this. But if you look at the sheer complacency going on right now towards human mortality, let's kind of put it that way. When you look what's going on all around the world, it's like these people, they just don't give a shit. Michael Jackson told us that years ago, didn't he? They don't care about us. But when you look at the complacency towards human mortality right now, do these guys know that we're just characters in a video game, and that nothing really happens to us when we pass over?
Yeah.
I don't know, but just a couple of interesting thoughts there for the guys listening. So
Yeah, well, I appreciate you, man. Much love to you. We had some fun the other night, so. But yeah, man, thanks for the call, Nige.
you're welcome.
All right,
Catch you
man.
later, bro.
Yep, cheers. Take care. All right, so there you have it. Pretty interesting information. Yeah, there's Nigel from Devil's Playground calling all the way from the great country of China. And yeah, the Word was God. So the Word, what does that mean? The Word starts with the letter W. W is the 23rd level, 23rd level, a letter. And of course, moon equals 23. But of course, moon is also Luna. So it's like, that's why you can't just rely on numerology, because words have so many different meanings. Moon is Selene in Greek. What is Selene? You have to bring all these. You bring Selene, Luna, and Moon. You bring them all into numerology. You get this melting pot of numbers. Where the hell you go from there? How do you figure it out after that? Tough stuff. Challenging, but fun. I'm going to throw some out to some of you that are fans of ancient Egypt. Something that I found. Maybe some of you can take off with this. Maybe you can investigate it a little bit more. And if you find something, send me an email, decodeyourreality@gmail.com. But when you take the, let me just make sure I get this right. When you take the Hebrew letter of Shin, I think it's 20. Yeah. If you take the letter Shin in the Aramaic Hebrew, which is from Phoenicia now, which is the letter W. In the Hebrew, it's the Shin, 21. When you take that letter, it looks like a W. If you move it on its side, go take that letter W on its side and go look at the inner workings of the Great Pyramid of Giza, the King and Queen's Chamber, and tell me what you see. I'm just going to leave it at that. Go to the letter Shin of the Hebrew Aramaic, number 21. Flip it on its side and go match that up with the inner machinations of the King and Queen Chamber of the Great Pyramid of Giza. You tell me what you see. Carrie Reed, do you believe, I don't know if you're asking me this because I'm going into the chat, and do I believe Star Wars is our true history? I think it's part of our history, I guess, if you want to utilize it that way. I think there's truth in it, yeah. Let's get another phone call coming in. 629, go ahead.
Hey, Logan.
Hey.
Hey, firstly, I'd like to say thank you so much. I just want to say, don't let these haters get to you.
No, it's all right.
I've been watching.
I know.
I've been watching your videos for probably like a week now, and my life is changing. It's kind of scary, the connections that are being made.
Awesome.
I didn't really have a question, but I think the fact that I came across your channel and kind of some of the things that are starting to happen and the connections that are starting to be made these past couple. I'm 21. These past couple.
Oh wow! I wish I was 21, finding me at that age.
Yeah, there's kind of some interest that I have, and it's kind of scary, you know. But thankful I found this community and whatnot. So yeah, I just want to say.
How'd you find me?
I think it was through Synchronism Society.
Oh, okay.
I heard you mention the little devil thing, and I wonder what he meant by that, because I was kind of really interested in kind of like secret societies and the occult and that sort of thing, and I just knew the idea behind, like, oh, they're just devil worshippers and that's it. I was like, there has to be more to it.
Yeah.
So I looked through your videos, and I was like, okay, so it just goes deeper than just that. So that's
nice. Well, and what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Roland. I'm calling from Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, another Tennessee caller. Nice. Well, Roland, thank you so much for your support, and make sure you watch my How to Decode Yourself. Start tapping into that energy, figure out who you are and why you're here. What's your birthday? Just your month and day.
May 3rd, 2000.
May 3rd. Okay, so you get the 3 spades card 42. So very special. You got to go figure out what that card means, and it's tied to the Truman Show, bro. The 3 spades card, your birth card's tied to the Truman Show. May 3rd is 53. 53 is tied to iodine, which is the I am, and it's tied to the Yeshua character, and so there's a lot of layers you can start tapping into just your birthday.
Yes, sir. And I looked at the website that you mentioned, and when my paragraph I read is kind of, again, it was talking about business and art, and those are 2 things right now that I'm really, these past couple months I've been fighting with, is the business I did, and it kind of has a lot to do with creativity, and in my page it was mentioning that. So that's just really scary. A lot of weird stuff, a lot of symbolism is kind of a lot to deal with. But thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling, Rowan. I appreciate you. Thanks for all your support. Just keep decoding yourself, and there's nothing to be afraid of, man. Just accept it and just kind of have fun with it, man. Massage it and then just have fun with it. All right, so we got another call coming in. Thanks for your call. We're going to, oh, no, I guess we lost that call. But thanks, Roland, for your call, brother. Much love to you there in Memphis, Tennessee. Till next time, brother. We'll talk to you later. So another another supporter. I love it. That's great. I really appreciate each and every one of you for your support and your contributions. I know I'm almost booked for the month of January, which I didn't even want to do because I'm trying to work on this life coding system, but I do have a few dates available, maybe 2 left, I think, for the month of January, for readings. I think this is probably 206. Go ahead.
Hey, Logan, it's Christine.
What's up, Christine? How are you? How's the great state of Washington doing?
It was nice. It didn't rain today.
Oh, well, that's a bonus. There you go. What's cracking? What's your question?
So I had a question about, okay, with the...
Can you try to talk into your receiver a little bit, though? Because I'm having a hard time hearing you.
With the animal cards...
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Christine. Can you kind of like... Are you talking into your phone, or...?
Yeah.
Wow, it's weird. Okay, I just got a really bad signal. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just not that loud, and I can't... Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
With the animal cards, can you put those with your astrological chart, or with just the Vedic chart and the chakras?
You can put it with all of them. They all synchronize in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I'm like, I don't even think you touched on that, but...
No, because there's so many possibilities, right? I mean, if I were, I could have done a reading for 5 or 6, 7, 8. I mean, it's just so much information that we can tap into.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But will you pull me an animal card?
Yeah, no problem. You have a certain question, or?
Just what's going on?
What's going on with Christine?
Right.
Okay, let's see. See what's going on. Well, you got the hawk. I haven't pulled this one in a while for anybody. So card 2, the hawk. Yeah, the hawk obviously has a very keen eye. It's very sensitive of its surroundings. It can see for miles on end. So maybe you just need to start looking at things a little bit more carefully.
That's kind of funny because I was just kind of contemplating that today.
Uh-huh.
Of like not being so giving and maybe scrutinize things a little bit more.
Okay.
Instead of just, like sometimes I just go with what my heart feels.
Right.
And I think that's the best way to do things.
Of course.
And then for some reason I thought, I think I should look into this a little bit more. Right.
Well, you definitely should be checking into, the hawk medicine is, I think it's definitely telling you to make a more conscious effort of looking at things from a deeper way of observation. I think that's what the hawk means. I don't have all these memorized just yet, but take that and run with it. You have the book. Go study the book, and you'll find your answer. And I hope. And if you find something, please give me some feedback with an email or something. Let me know you found it. Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Christine. Thanks for calling. Always a pleasure, and much love to you up there in the great state of Washington.
Much love to you too.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
So there you have another. Christine's been with me for the very beginning. It's pretty awesome. All right, so let's get back to some of your comments. And I think I'm going to end my transmission very soon here. I'm kind of tired. And I have to get up earlier than usual. How do you find your birth card, Glenn Coco? Well, you go to itsallin thecards.com and you just put in your birthday. I'm going to put it back up. It's all in. There it is. It's allinthecards.com. And just put there. It's ITS allinthecards.com. It's allinthecards.com. It's the website you want to go to pull up your birth card, figure out who you are and why you're here. And it's some of the most important information you could ever figure out. Hey, what's up, Cheryl? It's Shin is Shin. It's the 21st letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and you have to turn it on its side because it looks like a letter W, but some of the layers are larger than the others. But you just go look up the king and queen's chambers of the Pyramid of Giza, and you'll see that you'll see what I'm talking about. But you have to find you'll see it if you go type in the Great Pyramid of Giza and the king and queen chamber, you're going to find out that it resonates with that letter. So I just want to know if some of you find, I just gave it away, but Wealthy Vision, how do you sign up for a reading? Well, just go to my website, cosmicsugar.org, and just find the reading, go to my readings page, book a reading through there, and the rest is, kind of if we have spots open. So cosmicsugar.org. I'm almost out of spots. So I think I just put up 2 more or something like that. I don't remember. Lisa, what's up? What's your question about tarot? Does tarot guide us for our future, or does it confirm our decisions? I don't look at tarot where I'm reading your future. I believe the tarot reads your now energy. I do believe, however, the now energy kind of bleeds into your future, but it also bleeds into your past. Kind of like if you put a stain on the, if you take a blood mark and you put it on clothes, it'll bleed out. Actually, I have another call coming in. Let's see. Caller, go ahead. Is this Oscar? I have an Oscar. Go ahead.
Yeah, yo, Logan. This is the guy who was born rich and did the NFT things and wanted to come on and tell you how everything's going.
Oh, great. Are you on speakerphone? Yeah, if you can just take us off speakerphone, because I can really have a hard time hearing you. I'm at my maximum level of volume on my end. So.
Oh, is it good now?
Nah, it's still really weak, but go ahead. Just try to talk a little bit louder. What do you got, brother?
Okay, so the last project that I did, I asked the question and asked for you to pull a card, and the question was, how will my money situation be after, like, at the end of this year? And you pulled the Judgment card.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was, I was thinking, like, will I get judged on my efforts that I have put in on all of these projects and stuff? And well, what happened was, the project sold out.
Oh wow, okay, very cool.
And well, I want to thank you for guiding me to Born Rich and everything, and not to gas myself up, but for not giving up, because for everybody listening, you just need to keep going. Don't give up, and you're gonna make it. Yeah, very true, man. Great. Thanks for your feedback, man. I appreciate you. And the feedback is just wonderful, especially if people resonate with this information. So thanks for the call, my friend, and thanks for the update. Yeah, definitely. And can we pull a card?
Yeah, no problem, man. Do you have a specific question?
And so what's next for me? Well, like what's next? What can I expect? Okay,
what's next for you? All right. Well, the very bottom of the deck was the 5 of Cups, which is, I'm going to use it very lightly because I'm not primarily going to be sticking to this, but I'm definitely going to tell you, don't focus on your losses. When you have a law, don't be attached to anything. Number 1. Okay? Mm-hmm. Don't be attached to anything too seriously. If something ends up failing for you in the sense of failing, don't dwindle or don't dwell on that loss. That's number 1. Number 2, you get the 4 of Pentacles. So this card right here is all about paramount and security and just holding tight. So just be mindful of, this is definitely material security coming. This is tied to card number 30, which is the Demiurge, but it's definitely has a 2-part to it. So it can be that you really need to, maybe save. But at the same time, don't be so glued to that where if you lose, it's kind of like if you invest in crypto right now, any of you now, I'm not being a financial analyst, but if you invest in crypto, only invest like you'd be going to the casino in Las Vegas and be like, I'm going to take $1,000 and if I lose or if I win, it doesn't matter. That's how this is what card's kind of saying for you. Have a light heart with this.
Yeah,
okay?
Definitely.
And don't cry if it doesn't work out. Because it's always going to work out.
Yeah, the odds are on our favor.
That's it. And then you got the temperance card, be balanced.
Yeah, and everything bad that happens, there's something better behind.
Always, because it's pushing you. That's it. Yep. If you continue to go towards, what we could call enlightenment or ascension, you're always going to level up. There are micro dosages of leveling up. Okay?
Well, thank you.
Of course. Yeah, you're welcome. Keep me posted on your feedback, brother.
Definitely.
All right, brother. Thanks for the call, man. Much love over there. Take care. All right. So if you resonate with that, this guy right here has been calling in for months. And there was a point when I said he was, he had this project and he didn't know where to go. And I said, go start doing Born Rich, Bob Proctor, Born Rich. If you're new to this, what's Born Rich? It's a free workshop on YouTube. It's from the 1980s, but it's priceless information. It's a course that's about 12 hours long. And it's the master, Bob Proctor, that's been doing personal development longer than any other coach out there. If you want financial freedom, he's the guy to go learn it from. It's free. So a lot of you, because you're programmed this way, you won't pay any tribute to it because it's free and you won't place any value on it. But if you're willing to eliminate those program beliefs and just go look at the value this guy provides and you go invest in this Born Rich, as this caller said, don't give up. Most people give up. The way to win the game is repetition. When you go to your job or when you go to your company that you work with, why you're good at that job or company that you work out of is because you have a lot of practice at it. Those of you that are musicians that have been playing for years, think back at when you first picked up that musical instrument and you compare that to the now moment years later, playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. The contrast between starting and ending are very significant. You are a much better player now than you were when you first picked up the instrument. What has made you way better now than when you first started is because you have practiced that. Some of you haven't practiced on getting rid of your program beliefs that hold you back. Some of you are more interested and invested in your program beliefs of when you were a child than you are interested in change and becoming a better version of yourself. Because what you do on a daily basis that's habitual, that you've been doing probably your whole life, is easy. You know what you're going to get. Some people love living in the chaos lifestyle because they know what they're going to get. And if they didn't have the chaos, that's scary. So if you are financially not where you want to be, my gift to you, which is not even mine, I'm just the middleman, go watch the Born Rich series on YouTube. It's free. And those of you that are serious, that really want the change, my suggestion is you watch and listen to that every single day. Just like you go to your job 5 days a week. The reason why you're good at your job is because you go 5 days a week. If you're not financially stable to where you are, the reason why you're good at not being financially stable is because you have a lot of practice at not being financially stable. It's very simple. If you're broke all the time, you're very good at being broke because you're used to being broke because you're stuck in the habit of being broke. Broke comes with broke thinking. It can't be any other way. Not from all the personal development that I've studied. If you're not financially free and you think you deserve to be that way, you have to change your life. You have to change your methodology. You have to change and completely upend your life. Change all your habits. And that takes determination. It takes willpower. It takes you getting rid of and letting go of a lot of the past habits that you live through every single day. I know a lot of you that are listening to this transmission, you are not where you want to be financially. You want to be, but you're not. How do you get to where you want to be? No one's going to roll the red carpet out for you. Very doubtful. There's exceptions. Like you may scratch a ticket but those are like exceptions. I'm talking about true building of financial freedom. First, you got to figure out what it is you want to do. And you may not figure that out right away, but if you go watch this Born Rich course and you're willing to do it every single day, change will come. It will force out your old programmed ways because you have no choice, because it's going to be in your face telling you to do that. And then you're either going to feel guilty not doing it, or you're just going to drop it and not do it altogether, or you're going to press forward and do what it says to do. It's a fail-proof system. The reason why it's not the system that fails, it's the person that fails doing the system. So I'm telling you right here, this is kind of a gift to you if you're not financially free. Go do the Born Rich. Go do it. Let's see how much courage you got. How bad do you want it? And again, most people that I see, they don't want it bad enough. Those of you that are stuck in that mentality of like everybody's out to get you, or you're being duped in life, or your luck is not the best, and you keep getting those reoccurring patterns, what are you thinking about every day? What are you hiding from? You got to change those patterns in your mind, because this body right here is the instrument, as Bob Proctor says. The body is the instrument of the mind. The mind uses this to experience life through. So if this is thinking faulty, if you're thinking everybody's out to get you, if you're thinking from a financial lacking perspective, if you're thinking from a victim mentality, that is what will be expressed through your body. That is the frequency that you will send out onto the earth plane, and that was what will come to you for your experiences. There are no exceptions to the way this works. And it's not just Bob Proctor that talks about this. So many other, I've read so many authors from the early 1900s that were talking about this. So where Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich got his information from. And you deserve it, ladies and gentlemen. You deserve to be free from chaos in your life. You deserve to be financially free, whatever that looks like to you. Like, have you ever sat down and thought about, like, what do I really want to earn every single day? And if you don't care, like, if that's not a priority to you, you just want to be like, oh, I just want to be financially free. You still need to have some kind of financially free idea in your mind of what that looks like. The clearer you can get that photograph in your mind, the faster you're going to shortcut the process, and the closer you're going to become to what your true destiny or your true journey is all about. That's what I believe anyway. All right, it's good. All right, so it's 12, yeah. So let's do a I know I probably missed a lot of your comments I missed. I'm sorry about that. I have to get up earlier than usual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a collective conscious card pull. I know some of you probably want cards pulled. I apologize not getting, but I want to get this for everybody. So I'm going to shuffle the deck. We're going to do a collective conscious card pull. And I'm way back on my comments. I'm not even towards the bottom of all the comments because there's so many of them. I appreciate all your comments. See, I mean, please pull me a card. Please pull me a card. And I can't get to everybody. All right, so let's get... Let's do one more shuffle. And we're going to come together before I end this transmission on kind of collectively coming together and just what we need to focus on as a collective. Like, where's this world headed? How far out do these cards talk to us? Is it immediate? Is it 6 months down the line? Someone asked me that earlier. I don't know. I can't answer that. I'm constantly testing the waters of these cards. I sleep with them by my bedside. I put crystals on them. I'm constantly testing the waters for these, with these. All right. All right, so I'm just going through your comments. See if I can't. All right, so let's get everybody together now before we end this transmission. We're going to do the collective card pull. And if you're new to this, what the collective card pull is, we're going to kind of all just take about 30 seconds. I'm going to turn the music up. And if you want to close your eyes and just kind of focus on, you want to direct your attention. This is kind of like, a group meditation. You want to focus all your attention on the question at hand, or at least the focal point at hand. And that is like, where's this world going? Where are we going? We just entered a new year on the Gregorian calendar. We now have the February 1st date coming up with the Chinese calendar, then turning from the year of the ox to the year of the tiger. This is a big deal. I talked about this with Daniel and the Syncretism Society earlier on, and how the Chinese calendar is heavily invested in Facebook and the metaverse. It has to be, because their commercial was the tiger biting down on the ox and clearly showing the domination. The tigers are the striped animal. The striped planet is Jupiter. So what is this telling us? Is Jupiter going to be having its say? What are we looking at in this 2022 year? Now in the Gregorian, February 1st, you get the 2022. We get the Rosh Hashanah in September, the Hebrew calendar. A lot of calendars playing out. And they're all right, by the way. You just say, which one's right? They're all right. They all have their say. They're all archetypes. All right, so I've already shuffled the cards. I'm going to split the deck. Let's see what the cards are going to say. So what's going on in the world, folks? We're all going to come together. Let's jack up the music. 30 seconds. Where's the world going? What do you think? Where's the world going? And then what is going to have the final say? What's lead? Because we're all being led. So where are we going? Jack up the music. 30 seconds. Come right back. We're going to pull the cards. Here we go. Okay, well, I was kind of lost in Never Neverland there for a minute. I really got deep on that one. Okay. So here we go. So I got a deck of cards here. This was at the bottom. I had already shuffled and split the deck. The Ace of Swords is the Ace of Spades, which is death and regeneration. New beginnings. New beginnings. So we're going to split the deck in the middle. So we have death and regeneration at the bottom. New beginnings. Seeds being planted, the crown of victory, because it's death and regeneration. And then if we just split the deck and we just go right in the middle, we're just going to take the middle card here. And we'll slide it up. And what do we get? We get the Two of Pentacles. This card right here is the 65th card in the deck. Tied to the two diamonds, which is tied to the word architect. Tied to Lucifer and the sun. Perhaps the moon. But this card right there, you can clearly see the infinity symbol on it and the juggling of two things at one time. This card is about multitasking. It's a water-based card. So we have death and regeneration, and in the very dead center of the deck, which kind of represents the now moment, it's juggling. So obviously, if you relate that to the world right now, we are a busy society. Trying to decode everything. That's why you're here, trying to juggle life, trying to deal with the hardships, the challenges, trying to deal with the love and excitement of life itself, trying to pull that more into your reality. Multitasking. And then the card at the very end, if we just slide this card up right here, I see the V right there. And this right here is the ending result. And it's, this card right here, the Five of Cups, is a card of sadness. And, this card right here typically is like, you're sad. You have this black cloak figure, and black, of course, denotes death and sadness and mourning and depression, because the character is looking at the cups in front of him that are spilled over, and doesn't want to turn around to look at the cups behind this character because it's too busy fixated on the loss, on what was. So it's really interesting. We got this card in the very end. So these are the three cards that we got. And I've been kind of doing my readings like this lately, the past, present, future, or, the trifecta. And we have death and regeneration with the Ace of Swords, multitasking in the present moment, which is what we're all doing, but perhaps the outcome is telling us to not stay fixated on your losses, not to mourn on what you lose or what you will lose, not to mourn on negativity, not to mourn on the things you're attached to, but to turn around and look at the things that are still behind you, that are still available to you. I think this is telling us we're moving through death and regeneration. This is the Ace of Spades, the infamous Ace of Spades, the skull, the devil seed, death and regeneration. And then the midway point was the multitasking of everything going on in the world right now. Very fitting. But the end result was the big takeaway, in my opinion. Do not stay stuck in suffering, which is attachments. Do not be attached to anything you have. And I'm even going to tell you, if you got a house, if your house burned down tomorrow, yeah, it would suck. If all the money you have in your bank account just got pulled and yanked from you, it would suck. You would have to go through a lot of challenges, perhaps, trying to, finagle this and finagle that, borrow, whatever. But folks, you're not going to die. you would manage to survive and make it through. So definitely the message clear for me anyway is, the takeaway is, don't be attached to anything. Please don't be attached to anything. That is standing in a layer of neutrality. Because when you're this right here, when you're attached to things, it brings about mourning and depression and anxiety and like sadness, because you're like, oh man. You know, I'll give you an example before I let all of you go. Back in my heyday when I was doing real estate, and the markets were just freaking, you know, crushing. Before the 2008 crash, I had bought this car. It was one of the new Mustangs that came out, and I had a lot of money invested in it. I owned it. It was all beefed up, turbocharger. I had it just the engine was just, it was on. I had a dyno. I mean, it was super fast, like 600 horsepower. It was you know, my weekend driver car. It wasn't a daily driver, if that tells you anything. And when the market crashed, I had to make some moves. So I saw the handwriting on the wall. So I had this guy who knew this private dealer in Germany, and I trusted the guy. And he's like, hey, if you send that car over to Germany, you can get top dollar for it. So I knew I was going to lose on the car, because, you know, cars, they lose value. So I took a chance, and I sent it over there with a little being naive, right? Like I've always been, just trusting in people. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because the end result was I got nothing from the car. I lost it all. Never got a dime. And I remember it caused me a lot of grief, because I wasn't awake back then. I was still heavily invested in the Matrix. I was stuck in Maya, if you could say that. And I was really living through this card. I was angry and mad and sad, and I chased it. Chased that for years. I remember chasing it, trying to get it back. And as Oscar Wilde, the great poet, said, he said, hell is holding on and heaven is letting go. And now, I mean, I look at it as like, if I had a very expensive car and I lost it, I would just let go. Because I know how powerful of a creator I am. I'll just go recreate it again. Nothing's permanent. And I've realized personally, for me, becoming a minimalist has been the most rewarding and fruitful things of my life, because I can pick up and go wherever I want, whenever I want, and I have no attachment. So there's really nothing for me to lose. So I'm very light. And now it's the experiences I'm after. It's just going on the beach and going for walks and going in the ocean and feeling the water on my skin and feeding the tohonas and the badgers here in the wild and going and feeding the squirrels and the birds. And these are the things I'm invested in. And when I walk, I don't step on insects as much as I can. This is how I live my life now. Whereas, you know, back in 2008, I was mourning because I lost a great deal of money. Whereas now, if I lost a great deal of money now, I'll just rebuild it. So I just think that, you know, it was a big lesson for me. And, you know, I'm not even the same person as I was back then. I've learned a lot of hard lessons, and I don't regret any of them. But clearly, when this card comes out, the message is to focus on the cups behind you. There's always opportunity waiting for you that you're not looking at. So when you have success in your life, when you're riding the wave, I always encourage people, ride the wave as long as you can. Enjoy it. It's like a surfer. Any of you that surf, I love using this analogy. When you're on the surfboard and you're paddling out and you're looking for the next big wave to ride, for the excitement and thrill of riding that wave. You finally find the big wave and you jump on that wave, you jump on your board and you're surfing into the back to shore. But that wave doesn't last. Do you get sad and bummed out when you fall off the board? No. Typically, you immediately get back on the board and you're paddling back out looking for the next wave to ride. So that's very fast paced. But the example's so profound. Rather than, like when you ride the wave and then you're done with the wave, you don't just sit in the water and start cursing the water because the wave is over with. No, you paddle back out and look for another wave. So don't just be cursing at the water because the wave and the ride is ended. Because nothing is permanent. Focus on what could be rather than what was. And I think that was the big message for tonight. Especially doing the Syncretism Society, and for me anyway. It's nice to have beautiful, expensive things. It's nice to live in glamorous places, have a beautiful sanctuary, and some of you have that right now. Some of you have nothing. Some of you the opposite of that, but you're still enjoying life, right? But you want that. So if you want to have luxury in your life, then go get it. It's not going to get you. And if you have any notions of, if you're broke and you're like, oh, money is the root of all evil, well, you may be saying that because it's an excuse to stay broke. Put yourself in check, be authentic with yourself. If you really want to be wealthy, like if you want to be financially free, I don't know, what does financially free mean to you? Maybe you've never made $100,000 a year. What if you did? You'd have a different life. How do you get there? And if you don't know, well, maybe you need to go study Alan Watts and go type in "what if money was no object" and watch that video. It's 5 minutes long. Some of the most profound philosophical expressions I've ever heard. It's just like, if you had no attachments to any kind of bill paying or any kind of, life tallies, what would you do with your life? What would you want to do with your life if you didn't have to pay your bills? That's the layer of mentality we need to come from to become a better version of ourselves. Decode yourself, figure out who you are, level up, know your power. Know you can't fail if you set your mind to it, but you got to wake up every day and say, I can't wait to start my day. I'm super can't wait. That's how I am. Can't wait to start my day. What am I going to attack today? Like today, I woke up, I knew I was going to do the podcast with the Syncretism Society. I knew I was going to come on here live. I couldn't wait. I can't wait. I'm doing the Syncretism Society at 7 o'clock. It's going to be so much fun. I'm having the time of my life. Are you having the time of your life? And if you're not, then go execute. Get out of the ideas of why you're there. Go focus on the ideas of where you want to go. It's really that simple. That's it. Go watch it at Born Rich, man. I've given so many tools to people. But if you're not waking up and putting your feet on the floor and saying, I cannot wait to start my day, you're not on track. That's the sign you're not on track. Maybe it's your environment. Maybe you got to change your environment. Those are just my thoughts, folks. Like I said, that's all I got for tonight, for today. Thanks everybody for joining me on this Saturday and Sunday, Saturn's Day and Sun's Day. I hope that you heard or clicked with something of tonight's transmission. I had a fun time doing this one, as I always do. I've been putting a lot of content out, man. Podcast yesterday, podcast with the Syncretism, podcast with you guys. I got more content coming out. But become the best version of yourself. You owe it to yourself. Stay away from the static on the world stage. Stop trying to tell people what you think they should do. Stop engaging with other people. Start doing you. Start becoming a better version of you. Start doing what it is that makes you the very best experience of life that it has to offer to you. And that's the way to live. That's the way to live. So, all right, folks. So that's all I got for tonight. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. I thank each and every one of you for watching. If you are interested in a reading, as I said, go to my website, cosmicsugar.org. Click on the readings tab, cosmicsugar.org. I have a few slots left for January, and then I'll be booked up. So I haven't opened up February yet because I'm still considering, I'm behind on doing this life coding system for people that are on a budget, and I really want to tend to those people because I feel like it's necessary right now to get people really on their game. So if you're interested in a reading, please do let me know. Thank you for all your donations, your patrons. Much love to everybody out there, wherever you are in the world. My name is Logan. Till next time, see you later.